Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
Hey, happy Tuesday morning. Welcome to the EST Hangout, presented by Two Hoots Hard Iced Tea, a Boulder Real Brew Tea. Don't just give a hoot, give two. Audio board is working today. Our microphones, I think, are working today.
Test.
Levels are there, so
Great.
I think they're working. I got it figured out.
Hey, you made it work yesterday, though.
Well, we made it work with what we had, so thank you. But I got the board fully figured out yesterday. It didn't take me. It took me like 10 minutes to finally dissect the problem and sort it out. So that's good. That's good.
Never a
'cause we got
problem
the
too
hangout.
big. You'll get to the
I
bottom.
thought that was going to be a
eventually.
long one. I thought that
but-
was going to take me a couple of hours.
Still.
And we had our big CFL draft last night.
Yes.
And so I thought I ended up what I was at yesterday ended early, so I was able to drop everything off, unpack everything. And I thought, okay, I got like 10 minutes or something. Probably won't get to figure this out. I'll start diagnosing, but then I got to go do our draft. Then I'll come back and have to spend the rest of the night here figuring this out because if we don't have it working, the hangout won't work today.
Sure.
And
Took you 10
in the
minutes.
process, I figured it out. It's like, sweet,
10 minutes.
perfect.
10 minutes.
Don't have to deal with that.
Easy.
Simple. Now I can focus on the CFL draft. That's at hand later
Important
tonight,
thing.
which we
Yeah,
will
well.
discuss in a bit because the Ultimate CFL Fantasy Football League had its 9th draft yesterday ever. Wow. Next year, the big milestone. And there will be discussions need to be had as the Gold Miners, the Mad Dogs, the Texans, and the Pirates came together as we do every year for the last 9 years. 9 out of the 10 years. And we draft.
Big
And we get
celebrations
ready.
next year, I'm sure.
We're going to have to make some
The
big
league is a
plans.
buzz,
The
you know?
championship night and AGM this upcoming year. There's going to be some big talks of how we make the 10th year very special.
To keep my tux from the
It's-
Estes, you know? 2 nights.
But how are you? I haven't seen you. Oh, I've seen you. I saw you. So I haven't seen you in
Yeah.
a few days. How was
Yeah.
your celebration after the Oilers clinched their spot in the Stanley Cup?
I didn't cheer until the very final buzzer in the game, and then I went AWOL. I went crazy.
Where were you? At home? Or
I was at a
out?
buddy's place,
Okay.
played a round of golf, and we missed the first period, and I was like, like the longest round of golf probably ever. They
You
were
gotta hear
saying,
this.
How long did I?
You
Well, I
gotta hear
heard
this.
on the way to Century yesterday. I heard you talking about your round and you shot 180 or whatever. Which
181.
Let's get our facts straight here.
No, there's some things you could learn to shave some scores off right off the bat where you don't have to do 181. You're a very honest golfer, so kudos to you for being that honest with it. So I'll give you full credit on that. But so I heard part of that. But how long did the round take?
Started at 1:30 and probably ended
What was it?
6:30, 6:45.
5 hours. That's
Yeah.
a long. Did you let people play through?
I hope not.
People
I
were
really,
behind us and ahead of us. So,
So
there was a
there's
group
no
that was
room.
just walking all the way down the entire
Yeah.
hole, and they were just like lollygagging the entire time. So we waited probably a total of an hour waiting for the people in front of us, which made the people
Oh, those
behind
are the
us
worst
wait.
parts of golf.
I love you working
Yeah.
on a 181, and then there's like a moss pit of people behind him. Like just.
Well, you're supposed to usually let people play
Of course,
through.
yeah, but I love
if
you
there's-
not, like-
if there's a group ahead of you that's slow,
sure.
there's no point in letting people play
No.
through because they're going to be stuck anyways. But also, you could let people play through and then hope those people
Then it's their problem.
will
though, but
try to
Eddie,
deal with
I
it.
just love his infancy in golf, not knowing,
It's-
just being like,
Well, it's
they'll
this
enjoy
is where
watching
his
me
bu-
learn this morning on the fly.
Well, I kept trying to hit it faster because I knew they were behind us, and I'm like, well, I don't want to make them wait. But then I forgot
Screwed
to
up your shot.
realize that. Yeah, so that's the excuse.
Private
anyway.
course, public course.
Oh no,
Public,
Victoria. It's no. This is the only reason you shot 181 is because you had pressure of people behind you.
Exactly. I
And
could
people-
have
there's
at
nothing
least
you could do.
shot a
Yes,
one.
You got to
Fight the
use
people,
it in
yeah.
golf. You find whatever excuse you can.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
would have shot an easy 125.
Totally.
If it wasn't for those
Zach
and
had
the
a quiet
clubs
day,
too.
yeah.
Oh, well, that's you need to go buy new clubs. Although that is the greatest excuse of buying new clubs. Every golfer that goes buys a new club thinks this is going to be the difference.
Shoddy Carpenter believes his tools.
Oh,
Hey.
in golf, 100% that's how it is. I got to get a new driver.
Ryan ball.
It's not good. I got to get a new driver. What,
You
what
just
kind
got
of
a
balls
new
did you
driver.
play? Did you play red ones?
Whichever ones were in the bag. There's one
I
with
like
like
that
a shell
attitude.
logo on
Yeah,
it,
he doesn't care. He blames the balls
I don't
after the
even know.
fact. I just play whatever's in the bag. Then he has a bad shot at the balls.
All
probably
Sport
better, so what?
replay. What is it? 82nd Street, I think it is. 135th or something, or 100 maybe 30th Ave or something. Okay. They sell used balls, but they're in really good condition, a lot cheaper.
Huh.
I highly recommend them for you.
Keep it on the.
That's the way
Words
I
of
would
the
go.
wise. You're getting some good.
That's one place I would go.
I'll
If you
learn
don't
one.
want to spend the high end, you could get higher end golf balls, but for cheaper. And since you won't care, just hit those.
Well, I want to. Like they're all the same size, right? Yeah, they got to be.
Yes, but the technology.
I just want you with a bag full of range balls. That's what I want.
Well,
I
that's
found
the-
all these balls, and they're all of the
So-
same color.
Yes, they are the same size, but they all have different technology in them. And like the range balls, they are designed to go not as far because they have to weather a lot of people hitting them. So do not take a range ball on the course.
Oh.
But I
I hope
do
you
want
did
you
not
with
play a
bag
range
full of
ball.
range balls.
You ever find a range
right,
ball
it's
on the
181.
course, just leave it. Leave it be. Don't take it. Don't
Now,
play it.
does it say that it's a range ball
Yes.
on the ball? Okay,
Yes,
yeah, I
it
don't think I was
specifically
hitting-
says range right on it.
This is great.
I want to get like a hot pink ball.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, or something like a colored ball. I feel like that would be. easy.
Are you a big guy I know that you're starting out or whatever and buying clubs from garage sales, but are you a guy that when you get on the course like a Payne Stewart, do you really care about your look and your club covers and the color of the bag? Like, do you want that all, same color type of? Do you have a theme, or are you
brands.
just wearing what's comfortable and you're out there and you don't give a damn what you look like?
The
Are you
second
talking about
one,
the bag
I
or
don't
the
really
clothes?
care.
Just kind of everything, the vibe.
But you got to
Golfers,
look
need
good and feel good.
Right,
though.
you
Like
do
I
have to.
Showed
Yeah.
up in the polo shirt,
You
but
do,
I was
okay,
wearing
yeah.
cargo shorts.
Golf shoes,
so
or
I
are you
gotta-
just wearing kind of skate?
I,
Yeah,
I was
okay.
wearing these shoes actually.
That works.
Closest things I got. One day I'll get there. Like you gotta tuck the shirt and everything. You know, slick the hair back.
wear
Oh, you
gotta
do not
look
have
good.
to tuck your shirt in.
Stick your hair back.
I'll say that. You do not need to tuck your shirt in.
I keep
Hat's
tucking
the
the
way
shirt
to go.
anyway. Do you a glove? Are you? A glove
I had no
man?
glove.
No glove.
I
Is
didn't.
that-
I didn't buy the glove. No.
Should he be wearing a glove?
I know.
I don't. The glove is just for gripping. So if you have good grips on your clubs, you're fine. If there's a little rain in the air, that's where it could really be useful. Or it's very useful. Otherwise, you'll lose it.
I just
But
want
if
him
you
with-
feel I have a good grip on it, you don't fully actually need
Yeah,
it.
I
For
want
the
you with two
driver. It'd
gloves.
be
though.
nice.
I want him with everything. Like I want every club to have a cover. I want divot fix it. Like, I want
yeah,
you
they
with
did.
everything.
They all
Yeah,
did.
yeah. Okay, perfect.
But I took them all off because my buddy's
Wait,
like, "That's
you,
a joke."
Yeah, you have iron covers.
Yeah.
No,
You got to see this set of
Yes,
clubs.
No,
It's
yes,
a Fila
Manny,
bag.
yes.
They're old.
I'm
This
glad.
thing
It's
is covered in dust.
Do not keep stuff on your irons. Only your drivers. The only thing that should be covered is your drivers. The golfers will rip on you. I'm glad your buddy told you right away. Take those off.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, I can't believe I'm playing with this
Yes.
guy."
No. 100%. Your buddy's a good golfer. Take those off. Your irons do not get covered. Well, there's so many memes I could send you on people
I love
mocking
it.
the iron cover.
Well, it's better you get this stuff out here with him in the hangout than getting it on the course with your buddy in Bear.
Well, I
So
would like to go with Zach now.
I'd love
just
to
go
with
for a
him. I'd
round.
love to. I'll caddy with you any day.
Yeah, and my buddy, thank you.
You're welcome.
He was created. Oh, jeez.
I charge by the hour. I mean, in your case, it's going to be a hefty bill.
Not as good as I'd have Trev there too, but I feel like you would.
But he'd be your caddy.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
you're gonna have Trev be your caddy too. You're good enough. You need two caddies.
I love it. That team of
Double
caddies.
it up.
Why not? Hey,
Tell me what I need to do.
Yeah.
One person's training me how to even swing. One guy was telling me that I looked like an old man. I put no hips into it. Like I bring it back to swing up. He's like, "How are you even doing this?
Are you
I've
too
never
stiff,
seen
eh?
this."
You're too-
Yeah, he
too
said this is
stiff.
the least athletic swing I've ever said, and that was my teammate because we're playing in pairs. And I was like, "Wow, thanks for the vote of confidence, man. This is really helping me out."
how do we fix though that? Is this just from experience? You
Well, there's
get a
the
little more.
experience.
You get a little more just
It's-
natural.
You
and,
need to go to the range with someone who knows what they're doing and spend a couple of hours at the range for a couple of days, and so I will go with. There's some good YouTube videos out there.
Okay.
Watch those. Rick Shields is the one I love. Rick Shields is a good one. Go find his videos. I think he's done a lot of different stuff now, but if you scroll down in his videos, you can find some really good instructional videos and stuff. So I do like Rick Shields.
Because you jujitsu, like you keep fit, you know how to move. Like the body's not it's your temple, right? So this should come like just with more rounds, and you'll just feel more comfortable
yeah.
in the swing, and that just like that rigidness just comes from experience. I'd imagine like, you don't stay rigid as a golfer for.
Not if you're trying to get better, you'll get better.
Yeah.
Like to go from 181 to 120 shouldn't be that hard. That will come pretty quickly.
Natural if you're
If
putting
you
in the
just
time.
keep going playing, you'll just eventually get past. And even just like, look, the one thing you could also do is some golfers, they never go more than double par. So if it's a par 4, you get it to an 8. Just mark an 8 down on your score. Just for the mental
It's
aspect.
okay. You know, nobody.
I would also recommend don't even keep score for a while.
There you go.
Just play the game.
For the last few
For
years,
the love of the game.
Well, it's also because the score can mess with you. It messes with me. My first round of every golf year for the last few years, I don't keep score. I straight up just go have fun.
Yeah.
I need to take the rust off my swing, so I don't care. I just want to enjoy it, and that's the round. I'll usually, I'm behind a tree. I'll kick the ball out. I'm just trying to get my swing going. Then after that, I'm keeping score.
You're working
and
on
I'm
your
very
game,
rigid.
really.
But
You're
you're trying to
just
work
working
on the
on your
game.
game.
Yeah. So for the start, what I would say to start is just learn to have fun.
Okay, yeah,
Then
I was
get
whacking in
into
the bush. It was
bringing-
great.
And you are that's. It sounds like this 181 was the funnest time of his life.
was
Like for
great.
most guys, they'd be like, "Oh, this is a terrible. I'm never playing this sport again." You're like, "Let's get into 281."
Yes.
Like,
To a degree, he's actually. If you look at it, golf, you spend all this money and you try to do it as quick as possible.
And
In as
everybody's
least amount of
always-
strokes. He's going, I'm getting my money's worth. I'm going to swing this ball as much or this club as much as I can.
Oh, yeah,
I'm going to
and
enjoy the full course.
I've told you this, and this is why I don't particularly never took up golf. Is every summer, you have friends and I'm going golfing today, and then it's complaining.
Oh yeah.
It's madness.
Yes.
It's expensive. It's having to put on these fluorescent
awful.
shirts and
It's
tucking
awful.
them in, and all of this other stuff. Or then it rains, and it's also it's never sounded like a good time. But from your point of view, it's the complete opposite. You're hacking away. You're playing from sunrise to sunset, and you're having a blast. I love it.
I do gotta say it was a bit long. I didn't expect we played
Well,
the full
5
18
hours is a
hole.
long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
4
boy.
hours
Yeah.
is about what you should be playing.
Okay.
You've got because when you're
Getting his money's worth,
this
though.
is where golf sucks is because you went for 5 hours, but you sat and did nothing for a long period of time because you're behind a group. That's where golf gets. That's where I get annoyed with golf because you're rusty, you're bored. Like it's just that's not golf. You want to just waiting a couple minutes is waiting a couple minutes. Waiting a long time though, that's where
I'm gonna
it's,
get you off your rhythm or
all of that.
whatever you're doing.
Get a little cold.
You might get me into golf though. Just with his, I love it.
Well, I would be your caddy.
Thank you.
Well,
I will recommend do not go to like higher courses yet.
no.
Beyond Vic.
I'm not going to the ranch yet.
Go to there's Kingsman Pitch and Putt, which is just chipping. Go there, cross the river, go to Vic, go to Dragon's Head Par 3, go to Rundle Park Par 3, go to driving range.
Or just
That's
a park.
all you
You
need
can go
for
to a
the
park
first like couple of years until you start getting better.
There's a nice course in West Edmonton Mall. It's a full 18. They have the castles and stuff and bridges and
Yeah,
your short
I'm
game.
not. I'm not good at
Short game.
My short game isn't there. I actually hit one putt, probably. I want to say like 35 feet away or 30 feet,
Ooh.
like pretty long putt.
You
and I
drained it?
Yeah, and I drained it. Like I went down. I like checked the wind or whatever too. You know,
don't need that for putting.
I know,
as
I
much.
just
Why are
did
we
that
hearing about this putt? You
facetious,
should
but-
lead with the putt story. And
He
then be
said
like,
yesterday he putted.
Oh, did
I
he?
heard.
Okay,
I
I
heard him
never
on the
heard
show
this.
say he made a drained of long
My
putt.
apologies.
Or
That
drained
was
putt.
That was the only shot I had. And then I drove the
Okay.
ball 150 yards another time, and it went into the bush, but it went off the tree and went back on.
you got
to
the members
fairway,
bounce.
so, yeah.
That's what it's the members bounce.
You're writing this
First
down?
round, you got the members bounce already. So, okay, hold on a sec. You played in teams, pairs.
Yeah.
You and your buddy took on two other buddies,
Yep.
but you all shot your own ball the entire time.
Yes.
So you went to your ball. You had to play your entire ball the entire way. You didn't like pick up and go to your buddy's ball and all hit from there.
No.
Oh, your buddy screwed you.
No, but I got extra
No.
strokes on like par fives. I think I had three, like -3
Oh, you guys should have just
automatically or
played
whatever.
the scramble.
If that was the
format.
way it would have, yeah.
You should have just played
things
like
would be
where
drastically different.
what you both drive. You then go to the best ball. You pick up the other one. You both hit from the same spot.
Somebody was telling you that
And you
yesterday.
go
I
that
think.
way.
Yeah, I
That's
heard
the
this.
way you should have done
Yeah.
it. With you being so new to golf.
Next time.
That would have made sense, yeah, because they drove
you
it
go
like
2v2.
250, and then it was like, well, now me and my other buddy have to go hack at it for 20 minutes to hit it 8 times to match
Yeah,
up
I
the
know.
same spot.
I would have done it the other way. You and your buddy, you just scramble it the whole way, and the other two scramble it the whole way, and you take the score versus the score.
That's the play.
He had
would've
nicer
been it.
clubs than me though. That's why he won. Only reason.
Your other
he hit a
other
130.
buddy.
Yeah, he hit a 130. Our other buddy hit 81, which is pretty good. Like first round of the year, and then 95, I think, for other friends. So it was good. It was fun.
How'd you do on the hill?
Oh boy.
What is that? 15 or 14?
Yeah.
Like it's a long par.
boy.
Is it par 5? I think it's a par 5.
He's breathing.
And it goes, and then it's just right at the green, just a full elevation up
To get
And
to the green.
to get to the green.
Oh, okay.
It's a fun hole. I think it's par 5 because you could do it in 2 if you get a good drive.
We're talking
You go
Victoria,
for it.
right?
This is
Yeah, okay,
Victoria. There's like it's like you know how the course it's on street level River Valley Road.
Yeah.
But then there's the road above it. I can't remember which road that is. You're basically playing up towards that.
I've been on these holes, but late at night.
Yeah,
If you know what I mean.
So, but it's a
Yeah.
wild one that like if you're right up, like it's a tough shot. How did you do? I'm very intrigued on this one.
Probably like 8 strokes just to get up the hill. First off, I hit it I had to Tom Brady it a couple times to pick up the ball, throw it towards the hill. I lost one under the bridge, so it found its new home. The ball,
Yeah,
and
another
then
range
once we
ball
got over
gone.
And then I just kept whacking at it until I got it up there. So like probably 6 to 8 different times. Once I got to the hill to try and get it up. Because I can't chip. Like
No,
I kept
that's a
my
I
club
was
face
just-
open and
yeah.
it would just like, go anywhere it wanted
Well,
to.
what club were you using? Do you remember?
From the base of the hill, I think, I don't know.
One of the ones with the cover on it.
Oh no, God no,
Oh,
Or 6, I don't know.
God no.
7?
I don't
They
even
all
know
have
what it is.
lofts. You want to get the one that has like a big loft on it, like for that one, and I know, and to get under it.
Is it
It's like a 5. You're going for a little more distance.
Oh.
You're too close. Like you're, especially with that hill there. You're sending it right into the hill. Yeah.
That's what.
Well, your buddy just did not help you out at all.
No, he just said use it like a 5 or 7 anytime. Or a pitching wedge. And
Yes.
Then,
Okay.
And then isn't there a stand wedge or something? Too?
Yes.
Where the face
Yeah,
is
they're
completely
open, so that when you're hitting it,
Yeah.
you're hitting it under, and you get that loft, so you don't shoot it right into the hill.
Yeah. And I was
face
also
club.
learning etiquette too. Like,
Yeah, well,
like
this
raking
tucking in the shirt
and tucking the shirt and not saying stupid
I don't
things on the
tuck in my shirt.
backswing. I
Why?
still did it though.
I like it out.
I know you do, but you go to these courses, they have rules.
That's more private.
Well,
No shorts.
but you got to get used to that, right? Like he's going to have
You
to.
don't have to go private courses.
But when he graduates to private courses, he'll have to belts, shirts tucked
You
in,
can still
cleats.
untuck at a private course.
Yeah, but I think getting him to where we need to be in
It's-
Q school and on the tour,
gotta
he's
take-
got to learn these things too.
I do. You have to take the hat off when you're going to the clubhouse.
Yep,
That's a big one.
and a pimento sandwich too.
I can't remember. I've been to Glendale a few times.
What's
Tom,
the most
trying to
ritziest?
remember.
You golf a lot, and I'm not saying this in a
Yeah.
joke. Right? You do.
I
There was the one
try
summer.
to.
How many rounds did you
did
get in that one
60
summer?
some rounds that
60
year.
some
It was
rounds one
great.
summer, people. But what's
that
the
was
most
just summer.
ritzy? Because you've also
Well, I've
been
gone to
around.
some of the privates in
Yeah,
Edmonton.
yeah.
I
But
actually haven't golfed
outside
much
of
out of
Edmonton,
Alberta.
Canada, or
no, I haven't
no,
gone outside
States?
of Alberta. I've only golfed a couple times in Phoenix, but it's always been in
Ritzy?
Alberta.
down there in Phoenix, or you kind of
No, that costs a lot of money. I did want to golf Torrey Pines, but that's also a public course.
yeah.
I've golfed a couple private in Edmonton. I've done Country Club. I've done Glendale. I've done Windermere. There's one more I've done.
But
And they're fine. Like, I
yeah.
actually never felt like it was hoity-toity or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
felt like
yeah.
the rules were fine. I did go Mickelson National. I think now they're private, but it was still kind of public. And that was fine, the clubhouse. Like, there was nothing too crazy. I loved Mickelson National. Beat the crap out of me, but it was great.
As not a golfer, I do like to hear, and I know a few people have gone to like Pebble Beach or something,
Yeah.
just on a honeymoon or whatever. And I that's pretty neat to be somewhere where all these pros go. And I mean, it's not something that anybody can just drive to on a weekend and say, "Yeah, we're going to go to this." It's you do realize when you're out there that you are out there, and the only other people that have been out there are people of prominent interest.
It's one of the reasons I wanted to golf Torrey Pines one day is Tiger Woods won there, I think, 8 times.
Yeah, it's pretty
like to be
neat.
able to sit there and be like,
Yeah.
Tigers has played this course, this hole, and he has won.
Yeah.
I want to go play that.
like I don't know what's happened to Victoria. But now, if I played, I'd say Zach
actually,
shot a 181, and I could be like,
the
"Ah,
one
this
thing
is
about Victoria
hollow ground."
is it is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, municipal courses around.
Is that right?
It's been around for a very long time.
Great locale
There's-
right down there,
Oh, it's
nestled
amazing.
in. It's
And it's actually really, I do enjoy playing Vic. It's a fun little track. It's also great for newer golfers because it's hard to get in trouble. There is no water. There's not a lot of trees, so even if you shoot it to the other hole, you generally can go find it and play it. How many balls did you lose?
3 or 4 only. I'm very surprised.
That's about
Yeah.
right.
By hole 18, I didn't really have a ball, so I kind of like
How many balls did you bring?
only 4.
Why would you only bring 4 balls?
I forgot to bring balls. That was the one thing I forgot.
Clip
I'm like,
it.
Especially as like in newer golf. Like when I was in newer golf, I'm expecting to lose balls.
Yeah,
like,
you'd bring-
You probably would on a lot more.
And I had a full pack of brand new balls too that I forgot just at my
home.
front door.
That's his front door.
I meant to bring
You
it.
took
and then
4
I was-
range balls and you got a pack of brand new ones, and
Yeah.
Because then
Just
the
to
worst
make it
thing is you got
harder.
to go to the clubhouse and buy some.
they got a
How's
good
it expensive?
restaurant and boozer there too at the Vic.
Great one.
Great food. Yeah.
Victoria is one of the best patios for golf too. Like if you just want to go drink
Yeah.
or have a bite.
Oh, I've been there, yeah.
Walk to
Yeah.
Victoria because depending where you're sitting on the patio, you could watch the tee box of 1. You could watch hole 9, the green as people come in, and then on the left side you could see tee off of 10 and hole 18. But watching 10, 1, and 9, It's actually a really nice little setup.
Yeah.
Beautiful view. You're downtown. You're in the River Valley.
A couple blocks away
and
from
it's-
Remax. You can go to Riverhawks game afterwards.
And by the way, the Riverhawks 7:35 tonight.
Correct.
Here in
Ridgefield
Edmonton Sports Talk. They have announced that on Saturday this week and Saturday next week they will play at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
And the Elks are going to be playing at 2 o'clock. We'll get a lot more discussion on that. But Riverhawks later tonight on EST. The Stingers are in action at the Expo Center, looking to go 5-0. The only
3-1
undefeated
Vancouver,
team.
too.
Oh, they took down the 3-0 Rattlers on Sunday. I was there at that game. It was a fun time. Yeah, I really want to go to golfing a little bit with Zach at some point.
I can't
be
wait.
your caddy.
I can't wait.
I'll even
go.
come on and caddy with you.
You'll tell me actually the right club to use.
I'll yell after the tee box after you shank one. I'll be like, who would have skibbity or something like that.
Baba Booey.
Yeah, Baba
Mashed
Booey. Yeah,
potatoes.
Yeah, I'll be that guy for his shanks up there. Which
In
tee
the
box
hole.
do you usually use? Which
Oh yeah,
Well, there's only 2 there.
yeah. We're set up at the closer ones.
okay.
Yeah, the white ones. I think they are. Like they have a
Well,
white tee
there's
box.
even closer. Oh, I guess
Oh,
there's
there's
3 of them.
3 white,
Oh, is
There'd be
there?
3.
white, red,
Yeah.
red,
Yeah.
white, and blue,
Black.
black.
There should have been. Is there no red there?
I think I only saw 2. They had the one far back, and then just
It's been a couple of years now, I guess, since I've been to Victoria.
some of them were basically right beside each other though, and then other ones you got like a 50-yard advantage, which was nice. It didn't matter anyway. It's still.
But it's still 50 yards. On the Hangout today, we do have to qualify somebody for the $100,000 hole-in-one contest presented by Golf Town. Qualify someone for the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival as well. The VIP table to Kevin Hart on July 13th. I actually didn't even... So we sidetracked there. So how did you celebrate the Oilers? Because you then got it late. Because the golf went really long.
golf was over.
But then you partied? Or...
Buddy's place, garage,
Or
house.
did you guys
set the
just-
scene here.
Well, I was kind of. Yeah, I was just in my friend's basement. Drove to his house after, and
Okay.
I don't know, picked up some McDonald's. Just like Connor McDavid, I guess I got. Oh, I guess he didn't get Molson.
Did
Well,
you
I
get
got
mobbed
Molson.
outside your buddy's house by adoring fans?
Connor got Molson.
Oh, did he?
Molson, Coors, and a bunch of White Claws. Good job, Lauren.
Yeah. Yeah, on the White Claws.
Damn right.
Yeah, I knew that for sure. Like,
Damn right.
if you're getting White Claws,
I'm with Lauren on those ones.
Had to have been lime, correct? Eh? I mean,
There was a
it's
few.
The only right answer. Oh, she was up to her neck in them.
And Connor had a couple of it too. So
And I hope it's all for them.
just that's all they want.
Just a night in.
well, their fridge is
Celebrate the
empty.
conference
Got
finals,
to
yeah.
go into that. No, it's just White Claw's way to go.
So yeah,
Nothing wrong with
McDonald's.
Coors and Molson.
Nice.
I do love a good Coors Light or something. I think you were having some Coors Light last night.
Yeah.
But I'm just a White Claw guy.
But you McDonald's, friend's place, and then
and that was it. Then
and
we
then-
watched it, and then
Yeah,
played some
McDonald's.
Quiplash.
some
Some what?
Quipla- Do you know what that is?
No.
Harry Potter.
So it's like a
Quidditch, Quidditch,
No,
Quidditch,
that's Quidditch.
Quidditch. Yeah.
No, I wish we could play Quidditch. But I think there is a real league for that.
Yep.
Actually, yeah.
It's become something.
Yeah.
Somehow, but Quiplash is just I guess a party box kind of game where there's a bunch of different ones. Quiplash, there's I guess a statement, and you have to add an answer like a Mad Lib or something.
Okay.
And try and make people laugh and get votes and to get the win. So it's like pretty brash humor you could use and stuff like that. There's a presentation one where you have to pick a problem and then solve it somehow and then present it and stand up and try and get the vote for
I
it.
love how everybody's like out drinking and stuff. You're at Buddy's place eating McDonald's and playing like board games. That's how you're celebrating. And I love it. It's very wholesome, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I had work in the morning.
Do it your way.
Very responsible.
Respect
Very
that.
responsible.
Respect that. I very much do. I want to get to Hangout headlines, which is brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club, offering premier conditions, top-notch value, great conditions. It's always amazing at the ranch. Book your tee time at the ranch, theranchgolf.com. Last night was a big night in the world. I'll just go that far as the number one CFL fantasy league in the world. The Dounia met Scott McCord and the Shreveport Pirates, Lucas Holtz and the San Antonio Texans, Lieutenant Eric Holtz and the Memphis Mad Dogs and Matt Iwanyk, myself.
Go Dogs.
And the Sacramento Gold Miners had our wonderful draft. I was telling Dean yesterday and Renee yesterday that I was very nervous.
Always, that's always, yeah.
Well, I didn't. I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing going in. I was very
Which none of us
concerned about
never
the
do.
No, this is I usually some years I have some ideas, some players.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was going to do.
Okay.
I was very worried. I was like, this year I'm going to have to live off the waiver wire because I'm going to lose it at the draft
Risky
this year.
game. Yeah.
I haven't done any prep. I'm not ready. This isn't good.
I know what you're setting this up for. I've seen the results.
Scott McCord, I was very hoping he would do what he did. I thought he was going to go Colaros.
Didn't draft a dead guy.
Didn't draft a dead guy, but didn't taking Brady Oliveira, and I was like, okay, at least I'll have him. But I didn't know where to go. And I'm like, if he took Brady, I didn't know where I was going to go. Before I get into how I feel, how did you feel going into the draft yesterday? How do you feel coming out of the draft yesterday?
Yes, so it's 9 seasons to which the Memphis Mad Dogs, I think we came to the conclusion. I've been to a record number of finals, or close to.
The numbers are, McCord has been to 1 final, and he won. He's 1-0.
I hate him so much.
Lucas has been to 5 finals. He's 4-1. You've been to 5 finals. You're 0-5. I've been to 6 finals.
Brutal.
And I'm 3-3.
Yeah, the fix remains in, and I look for that to continue this year. Look, it's a funny thing because now you're almost like, 0-5. Let's see if he can the drive to 0-10. It's been very frustrating. But yes, to answer your question yesterday, there was the prep involved, the Mad Dogs scouting. We fired our scouting staff each and every year and hired a new one. So this year's group feeling very energized and a lot of youth involved in that. And I got to tell you, I had a few directions I did want to go in the draft. As you mentioned, there is a certain routes that you might have in your mind. Now that's not guaranteed that you go down those routes. And I was picking in the 3rd slot, to which I determined, Maddie, after last night's draft. I think in a snake draft, specifically for a CFL 4-man fantasy league, number 3 is not where you want to be. And I kind of played the draft out in my mind.
I think 3's better than 2.
And I'll first overall pick. You have the first overall choice. Okay, you can choose whatever you want, and that's great. Plus, you also have you're the snake. You're at the end when it comes back to you. Number 2, you mentioned you're sitting there. You do and work with whatever number 1 didn't do. So you're kind of sitting there with, okay, a little tough. 3, though, now you've seen the first 2 off the board. You're 3, you make a pick. Now it goes to 4. That person gets 2. So another 2 people off the board. So sitting in 3, there's 2 people picking, and then the next person beside you picks 2 as well. So it's kind of this thing where now 2 or 3, 4. No, I know 2 or 3 or 4 rounds go by, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking around and I see everybody else's roster getting all the players I identified for my first team in my pre-draft slate, and I'm looking at what I've gotten. And I'm seeing, I'm like, how the hell did this happen? And again, that's 3 or 4 rounds in. Rest of the draft goes, and I'm looking at a roster to which, again, I'm not going to cry about it, but certainly a lot of big hitters that I had identified couldn't get for whatever rhyme or reason. And
Well,
then
you guys had terrible drafting.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah.
What would you say?
You guys had terrible draft.
Who's you guys? All of us?
3 of you.
Well, again, going by a Twitter poll. He's going to go by Twitter results now. And this is all he's got to live off of.
Hernan Salas
Oh, well, here we go.
is a guy that's always against me.
Yeah, well.
I came back to, I was nervous going to the draft. I feel really good leaving this
As
draft,
you should.
Zach.
As you should.
I feel great leaving this draft. I think I have the best talent pool and depth at running back, at wide receiver, and at Canadian. Hernan, even you guys passed on some big real-time players. He's picking me as the favorite. He never picks me as a favorite. I have Eugene Lewis, Kenny Lawler, Dominic Rhymes. I have Kevin Brown, Brady Oliveira, Kadeem Carey. I have Rene Paredes and Sergio Castillo for my kicker, but that's for the Canadian. I am loaded. You guys let me get Eugene Lewis, Kenny Lawler, Dominic Rhymes with Brady Oliveira. I don't know how you guys let me do that, but you let me do that. I have MBT as my quarterback. BC defense. We'll see how that plays.
He's got a cheer from McLeod Bethel Thompson now. That's the real funny thing here. And it's funny, in fantasy, you pick players, rivals, or whatever. Now you got this quarterbacking situation for the season is going to be very interesting.
I got Drew Brown.
Doing your real life.
I got Drew Brown in Ottawa because we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
And you want to know something? Trey Ford's still sitting out there. Doesn't take much to make the change when I need to.
No, I know, and that'll be fascinating to see how it plays out. But
you guys let me get some of the best receivers and the best running backs.
Well, says you.
Through 6 rounds or 7 rounds or whatever. I don't know.
So how many?
The poll
carry the best running?
47% on the gold miners. You are at 23%.
That's great that the Twitter poll. I mean, that's all 20 voters should be very proud of themselves.
30. 30. What are you going to say, Zach?
So how many rounds are there and how many picks do you get? What
get
players do you
13
have?
rounds.
Great question, Zach.
So Our starting lineup is a quarterback, 3 receivers, a running back, a Canadian, a kicker, a defense. And then we have 5 bench players.
Any bench player that
You can fill out the bench however you wish.
You pick all 5 kickers.
You could only have could only have 2 kickers on your roster, and you could only have 2 quarterbacks on your roster, unless one of your quarterback throughout the season goes on injured reserve. You could then pick up a 3rd quarterback, but you can't put another quarterback on IR and pick up a 4th quarterback. There's a max of 3. Those are the 2 roster limitations. You could also only have 2 defenses at any moment, but beyond that, you could fill it out with wide receiver and running back as much as you wish.
Okay. And how many IR slots are there?
There'll be 2.
2? Okay.
Once the season opens. I'm sorry, you let me get Eugene Lewis and Kenny Lawler.
We didn't let you do
Yes,
anything.
you did.
You selected those players. We selected other players. That's based on how you get it. The Brady Oliveira one was a no-brainer, and that's where you go. And you're not going to mention that at number 3, I took Nick Dembski as well, which last year those 2 went, I do believe, 1-2, was it not? Or something like that. I mean, they're always near the top. And the good thing is it's that Canadian passport, but with the ability to draw in at either receiver, running back, or whatever. I mean, these guys are explosive offensive players. The Oliveira's the 1A to the Dembski 1B, I would say, just in terms of, right? I mean,
For Canadians
right now,
they're the top 2.
Yeah. So I like that I came away with a Dembski. One of those 2. We knew McCord taking Vernon Adams Jr. first overall, big BC Lions fan.
Should have taken him 2nd round.
But it's that Oliveira Dembski pivot, where I knew I was going to get one since he's taking VAJ. So I'm pleased with that. And again, I went off there. Canadian receiver. I think I built a lot of Canadian receiver depth with my squad, and that's fine. I'll see if that benefits me in terms of changing guys up and everything. But
can I jump in?
Absolutely.
I would like to mention some of the players on your team. Just
Okay,
so people know.
if you-
You got Collaros.
Zach Collaros, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, led all statistical categories in quarterbacks last year, touchdowns, so on and so forth. So please go on.
Emelis, Bain Jr., Mitchell, Mills, Dembski,
I like how
Montreal.
you're just reading the last names and kind of just going on. Yours was like, Eugene Lewis, Dominic Rice, the number
Zach
28.
Collaros, Samuel Emelis, Shane Bain Jr., Dylan Mitchell, Diedrich Mills, Nick Dembski, Montreal, Sean White. Those are your starters.
Sean White, I see.
On your bench, Cody Fajardo, Curly Gittins Jr., Jalen Acklin, Tyler Sneed, Jareth Stearns.
Now, those last 3 receivers and opening day, week 1, the draft, you're like, why are you drafting those? These are guys that I project that might pop through either mid or later on in the season. Who knows? Injuries always happen, right? So you know this. Draft days are one thing, and you can win a draft and that looks fine, but our rosters will look markedly different.
Oh, waiver wire's big.
For the first couple weeks.
Huge.
Absolutely. And then injuries happen throughout the season. So congratulations on your win.
But the draft
not crowning your ass here.
builds your foundation
Absolutely.
for your
No, it's
season.
important.
And when I won 2 years ago, I think of the key players I won that year with, which was Collaros, Dembski, Kadeem Carey, Malik Henry. There's a couple of other guys there. Only Malik Henry was a waiver wire pickup. Jalen Acklin, I think, was in there. Only Malik Henry was a waiver wire pickup that season. I won it at the draft.
They can be one at the draft.
And I look forward to the Gold Miners taking their 4th title this year.
Yep. Well,
and winning this season, because last night you guys gave it to me.
I
build this roster.
I arguably
that
won
is incredible.
last year's draft. If you go back, I drafted. I don't like tooting my own
the
horn.
championship game,
but I lost.
We got there
So nobody cares though. But I didn't win the
because
league.
Trey Ford was on a bye.
That's what I'm saying though.
Trey
These
Ford was
things-
on the bye.
So you're receiving. I mean, things happen with the scheduling. That you can have an
Actually, I don't
outstanding
even know.
roster, but you can fall victim to just the reality of the situation, injuries, scheduling, whatever. It
Zach,
happens.
you were around. You were not around last CFL season. Welcome to the 2 conversations you're going to have to deal with this year during the CFL. One is between me and Eric about the Dounia and talking about.
I love this. Yeah.
But then also him and I coming together against Dusty when he tries to tell him
They have a rival
that
league.
his league, which is built off of everything we've done, is better than ours.
It's basically
I've heard
Dusty
about
and a collection of listeners to which he kind of rigs the entire league. They're there just for the raw meat of it all because you need competition. You can't just have one team in the league. So he's in there. He kind of fixes it to himself. He ends up winning every year, right? Like that's kind of how it goes.
He'll win
It's
again this
imitation.
year.
They've used all of our spreadsheets, all of our know-how. It's a ripoff. It's
Last
Cut and
year,
paste.
his team was comprised of his top players were mixed between mine, Eric, and Lucas's. he somehow got all of them in a 16 league, and we had to have it spread out between 3 of us because we know what we're doing. And I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm sorry, everyone else in your league. But you guys are just giving it to Dusty, and you need to do better this year.
I weep for them. They're in a league with a guy who gets injury reports. Like the guy's got his finger on the pulse of the league, and you're trying to beat it. It's tough. It's an uphill battle. I feel sorry for everybody involved in the Kerfloat, and this is not an official statement, but if and when the Dounia does expand, I mean, why not jump ship? Relocation, hey?
Oh, and Dusty's lost his front pole position for that.
He's
lost his front. It's going to be hard for him to get in now.
Especially with Jason Milne emerging on the scene. I mean, that's
right.
Will Fraser's already. Yeah,
we voted him or threw out his name as the favorite.
Yeah,
you're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Dustin's way back in the pack now. He's never going to be in the Dounia.
Jay would be great.
Well, it had a spice, that's for sure. Great football acumen.
With the Dounia, is it just for bragging rights when you win?
You
the
get
title?
a championship jersey.
Yeah.
With your patch.
With your patch, whatever American team you have is on the jersey. So
I did not.
Yeah,
I was
we
not
have
aware
full
of that.
rules.
have you heard the story of the Dounia? How it got the name? There was an old Edmonton Eskimos player going Dounia Whitehouse. He was a player many moons
there's
ago.
the jersey with the patches on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice.
You never
old
told them
jersey.
the story. Hey, we'll have to tell them the story off there.
Green and gold, number
Dave
29.
Zachticum. So it's we get patches made and we put it on. Once we have to go to the back, the patches will have to go smaller. I didn't plan that properly.
Well,
those patches are a little too big.
You didn't forecast a 9th season, hey? We are.
I thought we would be going, but I didn't calculate how big those patches were. I just ordered, and then it's
Sure, you got the double XL.
is what it is. But
You should add on to the jersey, make it a dress.
well, like the Stanley Cup and stuff. We'll just add different
Add a
levels
sleeve
to it.
down there too.
Yeah, why not long sleeve? Yeah.
Oh, Kevin Bandel from that rival.
Well, hey, again, I feel bad for you guys in that
6
league.
teams is better than 4. It legitimately isn't. There's a reason we're at 4 teams.
It's a watered-down product.
Absolutely. You don't have to play a quarterback. What a league is that?
Yeah.
And then Kevin, feel free to come sit in my war room as well. Well, if you guys need the help,
I'll observe.
Like Kevin, just look at my team. Draft that.
Yeah, I'll bring a fax machine.
Tommy wants us to tell the story. No, Tommy.
Well, and yes, you're right. Dave should be in the room, kind of running the tail.
So
That's kind of
it's
as per tradition.
It's a wonderful league. It's one of the. I know the Oilers have the Stanley Cup this week. It's coming up on Saturday, which is great.
Yes.
And that's why it's perfect that they've kind of don't play till Saturday because we got to get in our draft. We got to focus a little bit on the
calendar's turning now. This
we got
week.
to prepare for the CFL, and then boom, the Oilers will be here. But it's a busy time in Edmonton. We've mentioned the Riverhawks. Their home opener is Friday. They're out on the road. They're 1-3 on the season, but tight games that they're playing. I don't know if you guys saw the game on Sunday.
14-13 or whatever it was.
14-13 ball game.
And back and forth, and forth.
Ridiculous amount of runs scored. But their home opener's Friday. Stingers are in action tonight. They'll next be in action at home on Sunday. The Elks have their 75th season. Again, 2 o'clock. Go get your tickets now. GoElks.com or Ticketmaster.
Against, the Rough Riders.
The Riders,
of all the teams.
It's the 75th season. It's the first game of the year. You have the chance to do a great sports doubleheader, which is 2 o'clock, Commonwealth Stadium. Watch the game.
And that's kickoff.
Games for
tailgating and everything. I mean, this
beforehand. You're right.
You're starting a day here.
You could either come to Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Myself and Jay Milne will be there.
Yes.
We're on with the Green and Gold kickoff show on its new home here at EST at 1 o'clock. But come on down, grab a bite. Had the smoked brisket cheesesteak yesterday.
How
you're
was
me
that?
now.
Well, but
you're full me.
Here's the different specials. Because I'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sundays, right?
Oh.
You were there Monday, Thursdays.
Correct.
So I was looking at one of the days is surf and turf.
Yeah. Now you're talking. They're torpedo shrimps.
There's another, I think, prime rib sandwich day or something.
I'm listening.
Like, I get the different specials than what you got for Monday and Thursdays.
Boy.
I get to expand to different ones. So I'm pumped. The
Looking forward
daily
to this.
specials, just ridiculously
Great food.
priced. I don't know how they price it at that. But come join us there. Head down to the game or tailgate starts 3 hours early. So if that game's at 2 o'clock, you could be tailgating as early as 11 o'clock.
Find us, right? We'll be kind of
We'll
roaming around.
We'll be determined at the moment.
Well, but we'll be down there just in
We'll
my.
be determined at the moment.
Okay.
No, but I will be there on my own.
Oh,
walking
okay, I see
around.
what you're saying.
Just
I will
meet
I
us
see
in the
what you're
tailgate. I'll be there.
It's our tent. I don't know
be
about
down
this
there.
week.
No,
I got
we'll-
some plan on some things on that. But you could go do that. So tailgate, games at 2, ends at 5. You've an hour and 15 minutes to get somewhere. to then get ready for the Oiler game, because that's not going to start till like 6:15
Or
or something
rumors
like
of
that.
them having some sort of viewing there too.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll see.
there's going to be lots of options, I think.
You could get to Moss, but if you can't, you
Yep.
get to Fan Park.
Hop on
you
that
could go to
LRT
home.
and-
You could go to Buddy's house, whatever it is, and then you get to watch the Oilers in the Stanley Cup. What a great Saturday! Or you could do the other doubleheader, Riverhawks at 1. Head right down to downtown.
Lots of
so
options.
There's two different ways of handling
And
that.
Canadian Grand Prix. As I was
The
mentioning,
Canadian
Gage,
Grand
it's a
Prix.
shame it's not in Europe. You could view it in the morning and then have the rest of your day to enjoy. But yeah, things are happening. And CFL too, week 1 on Thursday. Is Kevin still in there?
You have to like a bunch of people tell this story. You had to tell the story on air.
Did I
It's
screw
not
up
happening.
there?
It's not happening.
It is not happening.
It is a very private story for only people that are connected to this. Maybe one day, if you see me or Eric in person, we'd be willing to say it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those.
You find me at the tailgate, I'll tell it to
It's
you.
one of those things where.
It's not appropriate.
Well, I'm not going to go there.
I will.
I'm going to go with it's an exclusive club. Just like how there are more living presidents right now than there are members of the Dounia.
What do you?
It's exclusive.
Well, yeah.
The Dounia's exclusive. So like even to get into this, it's exclusive. So that's all I'm trying to say there. So
It's the President's Club.
I'm
That's
not
what we call
going into this story on the air here. But yeah, like so Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers. There's a bunch of stuff going on. While also in this whole time you could just go golfing in your spare time. Like there's
Sure.
just a bunch of different things to do.
Victoria
So
right down there. And the Canadian Grand Prix, as mentioned.
The
I mean,
Canadian
that's
Grand
another
Prix.
little like kind of
And then
side card going on all weekend.
next Friday is next Friday got the Euros beginning. Germany, Scotland starting
yet.
it.
Don't
off.
start yet. Let's
I'm gonna
get
be
through
watching
this
that.
week
At
first.
1
I'm
o'clock.
just
This is a great time of the year.
Oh, I love
For
it.
you and I.
Oh,
this is a
just-
great time of year.
my bank account's going to take a hit. My internal organs are going to be shook.
Mixing the
Late
water.
nights, early mornings, but no, we'll be drinking water and the temp. You see the forecast here, boys, for this week too, leading up to
Oh.
Saturday. You see Saturday?
Oh my
Subject
God,
to
it's changed.
Subject to change, but I mean,
It's changed, but it's for the better.
oh yeah.
So right now we're looking at tomorrow 18 and sunny.
That's okay.
Thursday 19 and sunny.
Now you're talking.
Friday 20 and sunny.
20.
Saturday 25 and sunny.
Yeah.
Sunday 26 mix of sun and cloud.
gonna
Monday
be
mix of
melting.
sun and
Yeah.
cloud 24. When you see a forecast of just sun with these temperatures, generally those hold.
It's a beautiful thing.
So I'm gonna knock on wood somewhere and hope those go, because that Saturday is ridiculous. Even Friday, going to the Riverhawks first game.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Beautiful.
by
beautiful.
the time first pitch, it'll be like 17, 18 degrees.
Wear a little
probably.
sweater, play off the t-shirt, maybe if you will, or vice versa. Go to the club shop, buy some new merch. They got a couple new kicking hats. I'm going to be picking one up for sure.
But then also Euros, it's like, or Copa, go sit on a patio, watch some footy.
I support Germany. I think Germany play an afternoon, where then
1
Canada
o'clock.
play the evening. I think they do double up one day, so that's going to be I mean, I'll have to get an Uber on call.
Well, Italy and Spain play the same day as Canada when I'm in Atlanta. So I'm going to have to watch that game somewhere. I've already told my dad we're going to a bar somewhere,
man.
and I need to get that game on.
German Concordia Club too. You might join me for a match there, Germany,
Yeah.
and we'll get down there. Maybe a YouTube Trev. Great
Tell me
place
when
to
and
go. With the Euros, that's the thing. Any sort of cultural community center around Edmonton and stuff. And I mean, even with the Copa Americas, search it out. A lot of places have their own little watch parties and stuff. It's really neat to kind of lose yourself in the culture of a particular country. And I've watched Germany beat Argentina in the World Cup a few years back at the Cultural Club.
We were
Concordia
there
Club, so-
for the game before, though, too.
Yes.
Where they beat Brazil 7-1.
Oh, was that something?
And that was
7-1?
it was
in
it was
Brazil
wild
too. Yeah, I guess it was the World Cup in
because
Brazil.
you're like, Brazil was supposed to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
You had two powers coming
Smoked them.
together. You think this is going to be a tight match, and also okay, first goal's in. Oh, okay, Germany.
Yeah.
Second goal, then the third, and it's just like, what is going on here? And it was 7-1.
Yeah,
And the tears in the crowd.
the brats were going,
It was-
and it's a beautiful thing. But I can't. We'll look at the calendar and
Yeah, you brought that up. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh,
I
it's
should
so
have
much
thought
fun.
about
It's
that.
so
I didn't know
much
you
fun.
could go to these community
feels like you're
centers and-
abroad. You know that
Yeah.
type of thing.
I could go for bratwurst sausage.
The Italian Center has Spinelli's little bar and cafe.
Yep.
Especially the Little Italy edition. Italy's on.
They'll have it on there.
Not a
pumping.
bad spot to go.
Have a
go
little
check it out.
espresso.
This is the EST Hangout. Matt Iwanyk, Lieutenant Eric Zachticum with you here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in iHeartRadio as well as on YouTube. We'll get to the $100,000 hole-in-one contest in a bit. And just after the top of the hour, we'll swap up YTT with Lieutenant Eric. Rams fan text in 780-218-9999. Why is Iwanyk dodging his drafting of MBT, dunking on everyone with his other roster players, but refusing to address his QB situation?
The table had a hush and then a bit of a laughter and a murmur when he made the
I have
pick.
nothing to address here. I have nothing against McLeod Bethel Thompson.
But
I have made that very clear. My issues with the Elks this season of going with MBT is not against him as a quarterback. It's I think that Trey Ford is a guy that, well, I've said that MBT will get a few more wins for the Elks over Trey Ford, but his ceiling is not a greater ceiling that it's worth. I would rather see the development of Trey Ford this season. So I have nothing against MBT. Look, I may have to cut him to add Trey Ford at some point.
You drafted him not for love, but this is for fantasy. This is different than real life.
Now in fantasy, I have to look, okay, who are the top quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Kalaros and VA are the top two. After that, I don't like the rest.
It's a bit of a roll of dice.
It's a roll of dice across the board. So in my mind, it was either going to be Trevor Harris or it was going to be MBT. That's where I was going. But I didn't want to make the decision. So I ultimately waited till one of them got picked, and then I took the other. That's why I took MBT. Because Trevor Harris got picked. If Cloud Bethel Thompson got picked, I would have taken Trevor Harris on my team.
Now, today the dust is settled. If you had the option again of drafting either of those, would your decision be the same? Just because you left it. But if today pressure's off, no time. If you had to pick one, you'd still.
Because the thing with Trevor Harris is a great week.
But the injury.
But then the next week he's trash.
Yeah.
Fantasy wise.
But
then the next week he's great, and then he's great the next week after. Then 2 weeks he's trash. He's very inconsistent.
Had him last year, and I can testify to that. But then injuries too, and.
But then I look at MBT, and he's going to put up yards. He's going to throw touchdowns, but he's also going to throw picks.
Okay.
And so to me, after the top two, there isn't a real, like Cody Fajardo's not a bad choice, but also his ceiling's not the highest. So I think
another X on Harris would be that, and again, McCord made the pick at running back, to which I think McCord and the Shreveport Pirates won the draft, in my humble opinion. But my humble opinion, AJ Ouellette, though, I think that Rider offense will look markedly different and maybe take more reps off of a Trevor Harris. Do you know what I'm saying? So from a fantasy point of view, you probably dodged a bullet in taking MBT over a Harris, to which their run game will probably be more. I loved how he drafted. Again, he didn't draft a dead guy. McCord's the throwaway in these drafts. He always does something stupid or funny or whatever. And he did make the swoop, though, in what was the final round, taking Keon Hatcher of his BC Lions, who was 6-gamed,
and he was fully aware of the 6th game, though.
And it's an Achilles injury, correct? Yeah. So that's a dicey one, but may not be back till week 10.
I got to throw out the two other teams. Vernon, this is McCord's team. It is not better than my team. Vernon Adams, Tim White, Devers Daniels, Stephen Dunbar Jr.
I don't like that.
AJ Ouellette, Lewis Ward, Winnipeg, Boris Beatty, his bench, William Stanback, Jake Mayer, DeMonte Coxey, Keon Julian Grant, and Keon Hatcher. My receiving core is way better. My running back depth is way better. And I've got better Canadians. Sorry.
His starters that you read there, I like them all except...
Devers Daniels is consistent, but it doesn't have a high-end ceiling.
But the thing with Daniels and White, those two guys in those markets are the guys. So they'll be getting it, right? And now the question is who's throwing the ball. I wouldn't have that Dunbar... And look at me, I have 2 Rough Riders in my receiving core.
He's got 2 Winnipeg or 2 Hamilton.
I wouldn't have that. Tim White,
but it's the best draft of everyone.
Outside of the Dunbar selection, yes. Who's throwing Dominic Rhymes the ball in Ottawa? You don't know
Brown. But okay, here's the thing. What I learned when the Elks first brought in Kenny Lawler, when you have receivers like that, all they have to do is throw it in that area and that receiver's catching it.
Tim White, Devers Daniels.
I had Tim White last year. It's not the guy. Trust me.
Well, he wasn't last year. He could be the guy this year, though. He will be the guy. Like, he's
San
the
Antonio
guy, one of the
Texans.
bags.
Trevor Harris, Alexander Holland, Dalton Schoen, Reggie Begelton, James Butler, Javon Catoy, Saskatchewan, Brett Lawther, Tyson Philbott, Walter Fletcher, Kian Schaefer-Baker, Lareem Hajalahu, and Keyshawn Johnson. He has the best receiving depth that challenges mine. I will state that.
Yeah, sure.
Holland, Schoen, Begelton, Catoy, Philpott is a great one.
I wanted Holland so bad. It hurt.
Sorry, McCord's drafted better than all of us.
I don't necessarily like his bench. I do like his starters, though. I think it's a nice mix.
Ridiculous.
And since it's McCord, I give him, maybe it's because he's,
go to @ the Dounia vote. I put up the poll for 3 days.
Go Mad Dogs.
Just to see who it is. And then hopefully the CFL, TSN, they usually do top 50, and I like breaking that down.
That was announced today.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I can't remember the times, but they had a tweet out announcing, we were discussing whether or not it would be, but it's a thing again, so.
Well, I always like to go,
that's the next championship we have. First you win the draft, then you win the top 50.
And then who has the most top 50 players?
What a farce. Can I walk out and leave now, or what?
No, you still got a few more minutes. I want to look at this top 50.
Well, I like your name the best. I just got to say
Thank
that.
you.
The Memphis
No, and I
Mad
was a
Dogs?
huge. Of all the American teams, I had time for the Birmingham Barracudas, but I liked the Mad Dogs because they had that swoosh of the logo, that '90s. The Barracudas had that Barracuda swimming up, and the Mad Dogs had that mad that dog, it's coming up the thing.
Got that dog.
And Damon Allen and Joe Horn and
So all the teams were
Great
real
battle.
teams in the Canadian Football League when they were.
Were
in
you
the
alive
US.
during American
no,
expansion?
he was not.
You weren't,
because he's in the 2000s.
Yeah, so you had so they went down south, and it was pretty cool. And the teams and the names are all kind of hokey and whatever, and people look back as a disaster. But I think you could get away with the CFL expansion 2.0, but in the Montanas, in the Dakotas, in the Wyomings,
pretty
where a lot
close,
of these guys play college, and the travel is fine, and so I think there's something there. But these teams, Zach, were just, you got to look into the stories. The Las Vegas Posse would practice in a parking lot. I mean, the Mad Dogs, they had to play out of the Liberty Bowl. I mean, nobody was going there. The Stallions,
Posse's last home game was in Edmonton.
yeah. And their anthem
moved it
singer,
here.
Their anthem singer one game sang "Oh Canada," the tune of "Oh Christmas Tree."
Oh, Canada.
There is
oh,
so much
Canada.
that you need, and it was it's just so fun. It's so
It's a great
CFL.
time. It was a great
I
time.
like that. I like that. But the one thing that I do know, wasn't there an American team that won the Grey Cup
95.
sooner
in Regina. Yep.
Yeah,
Baltimore
more recently
Stallions. More recently
than the Canadian team winning a Stanley Cup.
point.
I was cheering for the Stallions.
The Stallions. Well, the thing about the American teams is they didn't have to play Canadians. They didn't have to deal that rule didn't apply to
ratio.
them.
So how many American teams were there at one time then?
There's at least, I think at any moment there's maybe a max 5.
Sacramento moved to Shreveport, or how did that go?
But I don't know how
Like, they
many
weren't
played
all around
at the
once.
same time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
1995 maybe was
You
the
had
most.
Baltimore, Memphis, Shreveport, Las Vegas, Birmingham, Sacramento, like 6 in total, I think, during the time. But
5 and 95 played. I'll go to 94. I don't.
So there was 9 Canadian teams at the time plus 5? Or how did that-
Correct.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so there's
Ottawa
in
was
95,
yeah.
1, 2,
Rough
3,
Riders, I think,
4,
were still-
5, 6, 7, 8 teams. Because there was no Montreal at the time.
No, Montreal, correct.
'Cause Montreal moved
was Baltimore.
from-
Baltimore.
Was it Baltimore?
Yeah.
So at most there was 5, but because of labor laws rules in the U.S., you can't put in. They couldn't put in a rule that says you have to play so many Canadians. So they were allowed to play all these Americans. So the Stallions in '95 were just loaded.
They were stacked.
They were stacked, and they won. But that's where our league, like we in the Dounia, because we're the greatest league ever. You have to be a team that was an American franchise, but it's like an unwritten, unspoken rule between us that no one's touching Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like no one, like we all went in, like no one picked the Baltimore Sounds. I love the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not taking Baltimore in this. Like
They were actually good.
you're not touching
yeah.
the Stallions. And then McCord relocated because he started in.
He was Vegas.
He
He
was
was
Vegas.
Posse.
Then he relocated
1
to
year.
Shreveport. We like no one's gonna touch the Stallions. If somebody comes in and wants to do Stallions, they will it will be a sad day for the Dounia.
Yeah. Or the Baltimore CFLers, or the Colts, or whatever they were called at the time. They couldn't actually, because the Baltimore Colts, NFL team, they wanted to be called what was it? They wanted to be called the Baltimore something or other. Was it Stallions? They settled in Stallions. They couldn't use the
Did
original
they
horse
want
name,
to be something with the Colts
With
or
the
something
Colts?
because they wanted to?
but they couldn't. So they were like starting the season, they didn't have a name, so they had to be called like the Baltimore CFLers. But they had a horse as a look. It was just They got to have a movie, some sort of 6-part doc. I mean, the CFL, I don't know why you wouldn't celebrate this hokey part of your history, but
It's great when we used to have ESPN Classic, and they would throw on a game from like '95, and Gus Johnson would be calling it, and it'd be the Mad Dogs taking on the Barracudas.
That old
It was
ESPN
wonderful.
graphicing
and it's like with those jerseys
Canadian
too.
football, yeah.
It's wonderful. It's a great time of the year. The Lock Shop today at 11. I'm joining Huss. CFL. We will talk some Oilers. We will talk some Stanley Cup.
But as you said, lots going on.
But we're doing
to-
CFL props today.
Yeah.
We're looking at the CFL regular season wins for teams. We're looking at player props, receiving, and player passing and rushing. So we're going to look at those today on the Lock Shop. I'm super pumped about doing that with Huss today because there's another man who loves his Canadian Football League. And
Yeah.
it's great.
Now, Odell Willis, he was saying over 9 wins for.
He was thinking the Elks would
Oh.
pick some up. Because then Jay told him about his bet where we moved the line, the over 6.5 on Cool Bet.
Yeah?
The Elks
Over
are-
6.5 wins.
It's 6.5.
Yeah, okay.
That's only 3 more than what they did the last 2 seasons. They are a better football team.
Well, and look at the company they keep in the division. So you should, like, I mean, I don't know.
I don't like Calgary.
I don't like Calgary. I mean, Saskatchewan's an unknown still. Like, it's the dawning of a new day, but you don't know what's...
I like Saskatchewan better than Edmonton.
Perhaps, but you should, again, Edmonton's been at this now with this. You'd like to think that they're going to take the next step. We kept saying it. We kept thinking it and hoping for it to happen. Maybe now is the time.
3 more votes have gone in, and my percent's gone past 50%. So just throwing that out there.
Why?
Because it's the best.
No, I'm asking
People
them
are
why.
being-
Why do you want to? Why do you want to see more of this? Now he's gonna
That's not
walk
that, because
around
they're-
here, chest out.
Exactly, because they're being objective and they're sitting there going, okay, well, they're voting properly. They're not putting personal preference in this. They are going and looking at those rosters and going, who's the best? And I have the best running back, wide receiver, Canadian depth and talent. The highest end plus the depth for it. It's going to be a great year.
Now, as good as your drafting might be, I always found, at least when I did NFL fantasy drafts, that like the waiver wire is so important because injuries just happen. They just hit you. I picked Saquon Barkley probably 2 years in a row or something, and he got injured 2 years in a row. And it's just like, oh man. So I had to dig for some running back. I think I like Zach Moss or something. Try and like pick at the scraps that are there, find the next best guy. It's
But here's the beauty of the Canadian Football League that is different than the NFL is there is some player on each team that is going to be a star by the end of this season that we don't know anything about because they got signed.
Yep.
They were a press release in March that we weren't paying attention to, and they're going to shoot up.
You know everything in the NFL. Like you should. You go to
we
an
know-
NFL draft.
we-
Everything's
yes.
laid out.
Or
Everything.
there's articles, there's writing.
You're
like,
an
there's-
idiot if you draft wrong, almost. But
I remember Darrell Walker's first game with the Edmonton Eskimos at the time. The team was loaded with receivers. Darius Bowman, I think Zylstra would have been on the team. There's a few others. Me and Dust were actually doing the kickoff show on 1260, and Bowman was announced that he's not going to play. And some guy from the practice roster was coming in, Darrell Walker. Okay. 11 catches that game, over 100 yards. He didn't get taken out of lineup since. And he then ended up going to the NFL and then coming back and being a great receiver in the Canadian Football League. Just some guy in the practice
Always
roster
happens.
that came up out of nowhere. No one
Always
saw
happens.
Dalton Schoen being a great
All of
receiver
these
a couple
guys,
years
yeah.
ago. It's
There
that's
was-
the thing about the CFL is there's those players we don't know but are going to be just unbelievable stars this year, and it's up to the four of us to try to pick them because there's the twofold because this happens in the NFL too though. There's that guy who's going to have 2 good weeks, but that's it.
yeah.
And then they fall off. But it's okay. Am I picking the guy who's going to be good the rest of the season because he's just that good? Or am I picking the guy that's just hot right now and I've wasted a pickup?
Who picked the receiver last night though? That was you. Okay.
Barry Hill the third. I probably took him a
Say
little
the name
early.
again?
Stanley Berryhill the third. He's on the practice roster of the BC Lions.
Wow.
I need his jersey. I just like his name.
Well, but this is the swing that we're talking about. He's
I probably could have waited.
best roster drafted. Don't even know who the guy is.
Well, here's the stats of Berryhill. He was one of the leading receivers in the game against the Elks in the last preseason game for the BC Lions.
We're talking preseason.
Do you know who threw him the ball for the majority of those catches? Who? Vernon Adams Jr.
Preseason.
They were throwing
What's the defense they're going to be?
They were throwing to a star receiver. It's the connection. It wasn't like the backup was throwing to him. It was the starter. Wait till he gets in the lineup. Wait to see what happens. Barry Hill III. You heard it here first on the Hangout.
I'm waiting for Hollins to go down and Barry Hill occupies
Hill
that
three.
spot, and away you go.
And then
Hey,
I took
a
Justin
2 for 1. A 2
Well, then
for
I
1.
took Justin McInnes.
You did too?
I should have taken McInnes before
Best
Barry Hill
roster.
III, but
The people are saying it, not me. I'm just rehearsing what the people are saying. No,
I'll say it. I don't. Hernan is saying
I'm just talking off the votes.
Hernan always goes against me, and he's looking at my team going, "It's the best."
Well, there you go.
You guys
the
missed
tide,
out on
the tide
talent.
has changed. Hey, then maybe it is your year.
It's gonna be
finally.
my year. It's gonna be finally. I'm a 3-time champ, dude. I've never missed the playoffs. I've never missed the playoffs. I've never drafted first overall. I've been to the championship more than anyone else.
Yeah, no. I'm not coming at you here. I'm 0 for 5 in the big dance here. I got nothing to say. I'm just saying it's kind of funny that you're like Dominic Rhymes, and then who plays quarterback for Ottawa again?
Drew Brown, baby.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Who is a Sacramento gold miner too.
yeah, and he can light it up through the air, as we've all seen. Very definitive. I say we give you the jersey today. God, this is annoying. I'm already fed up. We haven't even kicked off week 1.
I will let you go here
Thank
if you
you.
want, because I'll do the $100,000 hole-in-one contest. Then Trev could come in. It's time for the hole-in-one $100,000 hole-in-one contest presented by Golf Town. Get your phones out 780-218-9999. It's the number to text in right away with the keyword. Swing big with this Father's Day and find dad or yourself the perfect gift at Golf Town. Save big with huge deals on TaylorMade in-store online now through June 9th. Don't miss top deals like the TaylorMade Sim 2 driver, only $330, 25% off TaylorMade bags, much more at Golf Town this Father's Day. Give the gift of golf. Visit them in store or at golftown.com for more details. Some exclusions do apply. Golf Town, your ultimate destination for Father's Day. The hole-in-one contest will take place July 3rd at the Ranch Golf and Country Club, 17th hole, 180 yards away. The keyword to text in today. It's DJ. DJ to 780-218-9999. Dustin Johnson.
Dustin Johnson.
DJ.
Okay.
You don't have to text in Dustin Johnson. Just text in DJ to 780-218-9999, and you'll go into a draw for the chance to be today's qualifier for the $100,000 hole-in-one contest presented by Golf Town that will take place at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. And then you got to keep your phone on tomorrow, because from today's qualifiers, we'll call one person who will then be a contestant, one of 25 contestants, all with a possible chance of swinging for $100,000.
And I think tomorrow's going to be the 7th person entered. So there's already been 6 picked. 6th one was earlier today.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
7th. See, I'd rather go like if I know I wouldn't hit the hole in one because I could barely hit the ball. And
You just need to get lucky once.
That's
Zach.
it, right?
You just
That's
need
it.
to get lucky once.
How far is it? 180?
180.
180 away from the hole. So on hole 17 of the ranch. And I'd rather go in that like 5th to 7th spot where you see a few people hit the ball first.
Fair.
Right?
I
You feel it
respect
out.
that.
I don't think as good as it is to be the first qualifier and you guaranteed to have that chance.
Yeah.
I don't think you can make it on the first time. Like the odds are astronomical because you got to feel it out, right? Unless you
Yeah.
know the hole,
Well,
unless
no.
you're a great golfer, but
It's still luck.
yeah, it all comes down to luck, and you just gotta. It could be windy that day, raining.
You're 100% right on all that. I never thought of it that way, but you also don't want to be like one of the last.
No.
Not even that you might not swing, but you're just sitting there for a while, and you're going to get cold. It's like you sitting at Vic this past weekend. You don't want to just sit there. You want to be ready to go. So DJ, 780-218-9999. That was the chair for those listening on the audio stream. As Trev comes in to the Hangout. This is the Hangout presented by Two Hoots Hard Iced Tea. Trev filling up with some Two Hoots. I've got some Two Hoots. The new box is opened. Second one
that
to get
one's
in.
heavy.
Yeah, we
Not for long.
we opened up. We got a lot more of those. Also, I like your glass. That little mason jar
Thank you.
you're drinking from. Is that just a mason jar, or is it designed to actually be like a jet glass?
It actually is just kind of a mason jar. I mean, it has the measurements like on the side and stuff for freezing, fill here, this
Fantastic.
and that. I think this is $2 from a garage sale. What I usually do, I got the lid, twist it on with some coffee and stuff, and ice and coffee and whatever. Mix it up a little bit so it foams up, and then put the extra stuff. Like I love that iced coffee, but I've since left it here, and I've just been using it for water because
Nice.
I lost my water bottle, so I don't want to use much of the plastic water bottles, as handy as they are. It's just better to fill it up straight from the tap. Get the good stuff in you. Everyone needs a couple sips of water every once in a while. So
Yeah, I don't drink enough during the day.
yeah,
Me too.
I noticed that too. That's why having a big water bottle with you keeps you full. You don't really have to eat is the thing. I mean, it's bad to say you do have to eat, but sometimes you're not hungry. Sometimes you're just thirsty.
Yes.
It's weird.
It is weird.
I just quickly want to. Lucas is text in 780-218-9999. He
Luke?
just wants power rankings for the CFL this year. I will just quickly jump on this, and then we can go into some hockey talk and stuff like that. If I had to rank this season, Lucas, and maybe you think I'm wrong, different on this, I want to go BC 1, Winnipeg 2, Montreal 3, Saskatchewan 4, Toronto 6, Toronto 5, Edmonton 6, Calgary 7, Hamilton 8, Ottawa 9. I think so. BC, Winnipeg, Montreal, Saskatchewan, Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary, Hamilton, Ottawa. That's how I would look at it. Toronto dropped significantly to me for 2 reasons. They lost a lot of players this year, and Chad Kelly's out for minimum 9 games. Winnipeg's older and lost some players. I like what Saskatchewan has done. I don't like Calgary and Ottawa and Hamilton. I'll still wait and see. So that's my ranking. You let me know yours, Lucas. 780-218-9999. That's where I'll go with it.
Now I gotta say, when you guys are talking about the Dounias and everything like that, it gets me more excited for the CFL. I can say I've never really been excited to watch the CFL, and this is a very first season that I'm actually looking forward to watching the Elks and getting into the game and watching Canadian football. Before I'd just be like, oh, the NFL is so much better. They have better talent. Oh, 3 downs. Oh, that's stupid. There's no point, right? A lot of people do think that, and I was ignorant to the fact that there's some great skill and exciting action out on the field. It's going to be nice to watch this year, and I'm looking forward to kick off on Saturday. If I'll be down there no matter what, I think. Tailgate, no tailgate. I've never been actually through the tailgate. I've only gone to a couple games, so maybe
It looks fun.
show up a little bit earlier, get a couple.
Well, it's a
dogs
brand new
with me or
setup
whatever.
too.
Is it?
Different, well, different location from years past. It's done differently. So they had their first go at it for the preseason game, but this is first regular season go at it. So we'll see how the reviews go after this weekend.
Can't wait. It's gonna be cool. I'm kind of with Zach, same boat for sure. Getting the Elks pass, which is pretty sweet. I was telling my my pa from Manitoba, he's a huge Blue Bombers fan, and so I gave him a call the other day, and he got a little teary eyed, which was kind of cool. But he's like, I'm so, because he took my dad to a lot of Bombers games growing up in the last few years. Obviously, they've been really good, so he's a diehard fan. And when I told him, I'm like, yeah, like I'll be on the field if I want, or the last like 2 minutes, I think is what it is, or something like that.
You could head down and stand on the side of the field in the last 2 minutes is media, I think it is, or is it the last 3 minutes?
Yeah.
And then when the game's over, you can go and interview players.
Yeah, and he was like, no way. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Can't wait for that. And the tailgate's going to be a party. A lot of fun.
Kenton, use our qualifier for the $100,000 hole-in-one contest presented by Golf Town. Keep your phone on tomorrow,
Good job.
as you might get the call from YTT, Lieutenant Eric, and Jay Milne to say that you are a contestant. So keep your phone on. Another chance to qualify during the lock shop, as well as 2 guys and a goalie later today.
Let's go.
What do you want? You want to say something?
No, I was getting prepped. Because I
For-
know we're transitioning over
Well, we'll go
into
with some
hockey.
hockey here. Let's get into some Stanley Cup and stuff. And how you guys feeling right now when it comes to? Do you guys like the break? Like, or do you, like? Because I look at it, I think it's great for the team. I think the team needs it. I think the team needs it's better to just have a few extra and have a nice week off. Bumps and bruises, a little chance to heal them up before you get ready for the biggest series of your lives
Yeah.
for the players and stuff like that. I'm fine with that because it's better for, I think, the team overall.
For sure. I like that it's like both teams definitely they get their time off.
And it's not like one has a lot more than the other. It's a day difference.
It's the best of the best. They both, they're going in at an even playing field. So I like that. I definitely like that I also get like 3-4 nights off in a row here. So I'm also looking forward to that. That'll be fun. But yeah, like going into the series, man, it's going to be crazy. I've waited my whole life for this. It's, that's one thing we're kind of touching on it a lot, but like for people like Zach and I and, my bro as well, a lot of my friends, like I had so many friends like texting me like they were crying, like I got videos of some buds back home like sending me teary-eyed, snaps, and they're like, dude, like we waited so long for this. And I'm like, yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like it still hasn't really sunk in. But like I'm sure on Saturday, like that's when it will. I'll be like, holy crap, like finally. And it'll be cool. Like I'll be cheering for them obviously, but I'll be covering the team as well. So I'm trying to find that balance, but right now it's hard not to
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry. It was like it was like a proud moment. It was like just sitting back watching them like, wow, they did it. Or they're gonna hopefully maybe do it. But I wasn't expecting them. I had them going to the Stanley Cup Finals, but it's like one thing from like saying that they're gonna do it, but then it actually it's like that's why I'm just like blown away, because growing up you're like, oh, if the Oilers are ever in the final, like what's that going to be like? And then the decade of darkness, like they're never going to make it. That's what I was always thinking. And then here they are, right? Like, so it's crazy. Embrace it, enjoy it. These moments don't come very often, but who knows? I don't know. This is crazy. I'm lost for words. Zach, what are you feeling?
It's surreal because it's never really happened from what I can remember. I was 2 years old the last time they were in the final. So I was sitting on my dad's lap on the patio. I think he had the TV set up, the old flat screen or whatever, and he was watching it there. Apparently I was at one of the games in the final in 2006 as well, which I didn't know. Bringing a little baby along, I always think
pretty cool.
That's interesting. Hopefully I had the earmuffs on, but hey, hearing's important. But it's amazing to see. The thing is, for a few years before this playoff run, I had the Oilers slated in the final, and it just wouldn't happen. And I'd be like, well, okay, maybe next year. And then this year I was like, well, man, Dallas is really looking good. And I'm going to say it. I had the Stars in 6 in the Western Conference Final to beat the Oilers and eventually go on to the Stanley Cup and win. But man, they ever proved me wrong. And watching each game, it was back and forth for the first couple. And then the Oilers kind of started rolling, and Stuart Skinner started playing good. Everybody in front of him started playing well, and I was just before my eyes. It was dazzling, and I'm still sort of in shock. Like, I didn't believe it until the very final buzzer, and then that's when I let a little bit of excitement out. I know the city's going to be buzzing. I'm going to try and get down to the Moss Pit probably for a couple games and just get into the environment. But man, I saw videos. My buddy was at the game too, and he said it was the best time of his life. Like, he spent a whack of money, as people do, to just go to those games, and he said it was well worth the money.
Yeah, it's funny, yeah, because I asked my brother right after the game, because he was there, him and my stepdad, and I was like, "Where does that rank, man?" Like, I was showing him the town, and which was really cool. We went downtown, and he's just starstruck with everything. But I'm like, as far as days go, like, where does that rank? He's like, "That's the best day of my life," and I was like, "But you're married." He's like, "Okay, yes, my marriage was the best day." But then this, like, it's right after there, so it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I remember 06 because I was grade 10, so I wasn't old enough to go party it. I think I was telling you this, that like I was of that generation who missed all the partying of the Oilers. Yeah. I was just too young before that. Players was a youth, and then the playoffs came, and then there was the decade of darkness, and there was no celebrations of anything, and
That's
now
tough.
in my 30s and they're back, and I'm too old for all this in a sense. And also it's some different spot, different part of my life, not fully a fan. I'm more of the Tommy way of things. And but it is always fun just seeing where the city is and how happy the city is, and it just makes things better. And yeah, I remember 06 was wild. Like, it was a thing, like, oh my God, this team's here. Now, it didn't go well. Like, game one, Frolison going down. I remember my dad comes up, he's done for the playoffs. It's just like devastation of you get through all of this and that happens. But it took 18 years to get back here. And you never know if it's going to come again or when it will come again. Like, look at Leafs fans.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fan bases that just don't get the full excitement. And the Oilers, as much as crap as they've gone through, they're back. Mm-hmm. And I won't make a full prediction, but as I said on the Hangout yesterday, and I've said this for the last few weeks, I just don't see how Connor and Leon now don't win this. Yeah. I don't see how they don't see that they're 4 wins away for legacy purposes and getting the ring and getting the trophy attached to their name and just doing everything in their power to get that trophy.
Well, the drive they have now is insane, and they've had it the entire playoffs, but now that they're rolling through and they're in the final, they beat the Dallas Stars, who have been to the final in the last few years themselves, but in the first round, they beat the Avalanche, which the Oilers were swept by, of course, in the Western Conference final. Second round?
They took out the Golden Knights in the first round.
Other way. Sorry. They beat the previous Stanley Cup winners in the first round in the Vegas Golden Knights, and then the year before that, right, 2 years in a row, they beat the Stanley Cup Finals, Stanley Cup winners. Sorry, 1 and 2, second round, right, and the Oilers lost to both of them, and then they beat the team that beat both of those teams that sent you home. So you're just rolling through that. First, I think 4th time since 2006 a Canadian team has made it to the finals. So 2021 Canadians, 2011 Canucks, 07 Senators, and then 06 Oilers. Of course the Oilers. So
and then 04 before the lockout was the Flames.
Yeah.
So we've seen the teams go there. The Oilers are the first to get back there.
Yeah, which is nice.
They're getting to do it again, which is the first one. But and the thing that also helps the Oilers going into this, in my eyes at least, is I'm not taking this as a knock on the Oilers because I don't care how your path to get to the Cup Final or potentially win it. It is what it is. It hasn't been murderer's road to get to the Cup Final. It wasn't Vegas, Colorado, and Edmonton, let's say, like Dallas might have had to do to get to the Cup. Yeah. It was the Kings, which was the Oilers made pretty good work of them. It was the Canucks, who the Oilers, they took them to 7, and then it was the Stars. But why I bring that up is if the Stars went and they were taking on the Panthers, I could sit there and say, going into that series, the Panthers have the favorite partly because the Stars have just gone through a gauntlet to get there. Yeah. And they are beaten down to get to the Cup Final, where I can't say that about the Oilers. Yeah. They're a fresher team. Like, they're as fresh of a team as I think you could have ever had been coming out of the West because you didn't have to go through 2 of Vegas and Colorado and Dallas or something like that. Like, that I think is going to play in the Oilers' advantage as they go up against the Panthers. For sure. Because, like you said, if the Stars had got there, I would have been concerned going, you had to play a lot of tough hockey through 3 rounds already. Do you have another series in you? Or with the Oilers, like I said, I'm like, no, you absolutely should have another series in you. It wasn't the most difficult path to get here, which isn't a knock on the Oilers because, again, in the end, It doesn't matter how you get there. It doesn't matter how you win the cup. All that matters is, did you get those 16 wins or not?
Yeah. No, and even with like the Dallas series in general, it wasn't the most physical series. So they're going to be pretty well rested going against this Florida Panthers team. And like that's one thing I kind of talked about on today's morning show is just how physical the series is going to be. It's going to be a huge adjustment for the Oilers because the Canucks series was pretty physical. Stars series, not too much. They're not the most physical team. So, but the Panthers, they are. Like they're a heavy hitting team. They're fast. They're on you like white on rice. And so that's what Grandma would always say. So yeah, I'm fascinated to see how the Oilers can match that. But like as far as the legacy statement you were talking about earlier, Matty, like that's the cool part. Because I remember, when I was in grade 12, Sid, when he went back to back, just the whole hockey world. Now it's down to 2 teams. So it's not, in the playoffs when you first start, everyone's watching whatever but like now if you're just a hockey fan, you're watching Connor McDavid, you're watching Leon Draisaitl, and it's the final 2 teams. Like this is what excites me the most. Cause I'm always watching the finals no matter who it is. But whenever you get a McDavid and a Draisaitl and Ovechkin and a Sidney Crosby and Malkin, Stamkos, Kuch, like that's when it's most enjoyable for me, is when you see the best at their game playing, for their cup, for their championship. And that's what's so exciting. That's why I'm just glued to the TV, and so are hockey fans in general, right? Because it's McDavid. Ever since he entered the league, he was, the next Sid the Kid. So if he can get it, man, I'm just getting goosebumps talking about it. It's just cool. It's a legacy statement, and here's hoping he gets it done because it would shut the haters up, and I'm just so annoyed of that. So,
Well, I'll go with this.
I get it. I get it.
Credit to Ken Holland, I think now fully, because he got his team where he needs to as a general manager, which is get to a cup final. Like, who knows? It's a crapshoot largely in who's going to win. There's never a guarantee to win a Stanley Cup. There's no GM out there that is just going to come in and guarantee you win a Stanley Cup. And Ken Holland made the moves, and this team is in a Stanley Cup final. And I could call out various moves he's made that I don't like in the past. There's moves I could praise in the past. But in the end, the roster he built in the last year that he's going to be the general manager of the Edmonton Oilers is a finalist at minimum for the Stanley Cup. And even if we go worst case, this Oiler team will have lost to the Stanley Cup champion 3 straight years.
Yeah.
That's what worst case is. The only team knocking them off in the end is the best that season. That you can make they're the second, third best team of the last 3 seasons, straight up, because that's the only way they could get knocked out is the team that ultimately is going to go win the cup. Or this year, they're the team that wins the cup. Like, that's where we are at with this. And I will have to give credit to Ken Holland in the end that, again, you could criticize certain things about this team and the roster makeup and various things and how certain trade deadlines went and free agency moves went and all of that. But in the end, they are now in the cup final. And that's your job as a general manager, is to get your team there to go win it. And they are in that spot finally to go win it. So credit to Ken Holland, a general manager. I have to say that.
It's the one thing, like, it's just a complete game. Like, they're like, this team can play defense. Like, they are. Like, that narrative has to, like, just, like, stop. Like, they won 1-0 against the LA Kings. They just to win this, the series clinching game, 2-1. Like, that, the last year's Oilers never would have done that. They were always trying to outscore their mistakes, but, like, they can shut it down now. And you're seeing that. So, and the thing that, Zach Hyman, he talked about it before Game 6. He said, as you go further in the playoffs, these playoff games just become more of it's just a game, right? And that's what the guys are talking about it in the locker room, and that's huge. So I'm interested to see that aspect because they've been in the Western Conference Finals, but this is a Stanley Cup Final. So
and the team they're going up against was just in the Stanley Cup Final, so they know what it's like to be there.
Exactly.
You're not catching a team that is on a magical run or something.
So here's hoping the likes of Ekholm, he's been there before.
Yes, you're right.
And Corey Perry, obviously, we know the first time with 5 teams. That's the first time that's ever happened, which is crazy. So those guys are going to have to be huge voices in the room, which I expect they will be. And Connor and Leon, they might be leaning towards them. But just at the end of the day, I think they know. And just from hearing what McDavid has been saying, he's different this year. He's calm and composed, and job's not finished, just like Kobe Bryant once said.
The job is not finished. 4 more games.
Finished, yeah.
You get 16. You want to get 16. And and this is also a good thing. I think what's nice about this for the Oilers, if you're an Oiler fan, I think looking at it is, as I've just mentioned, last year is losing to the Cup Final or Cup champs. You're back again this year. I don't see a closed window for the Oilers for the next few years.
No, and see,
Can we predict right now that the Oilers is anyone crazy for saying right now that the Oilers they could be back in the Stanley Cup Final next year?
no.
No,
Not at
exactly right. And 06 was a magical run. That team was 8th. They went on this run even before the Chris Pronger wanting to be traded. There's no one I think was sitting there going like, this team will be back next year. Like this isn't going to be just a one and done.
Yeah.
There was there's going to need some moves to take that next step forward, and maybe they could get back in the next couple of years. And then everyone left. There was 6 additions that joined the team that year. 5 of them left, and it's just like, okay, that's not going to happen. Whereas this one, even if the Oilers can't get it done, it's not like they still can't get there. And that's where I'll give credit to Ken Holland still, is that this isn't a short window that's there. It's still open.
Yeah, for sure.
And who's to say if they go win a cup this year? I'll take it this other way. They go win a cup this year. Who's to say they're not going to win 2 of the next 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because,
But
that's crazy. But
they've been that
thinking,
good.
I've been thinking the same thing, and it sucks that it has taken this long because some people would have liked this a little bit earlier, but it doesn't matter. They're here now. But no, you can't not think that. Like, going into next season, however it plays out, like, this Oilers team with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, they can do it. They can do it, and I feel like that's on Connor and Leon. They're like, hey, come on, boys, we've been here before. Let's go.
Can I take it one? Even Stuart Skinner, though.
Yeah.
My concern coming into the playoffs this year was Stuart Skinner. We saw last year in the playoffs, and you have to do it in the playoffs for me to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And since he's come back from being sat for 2 games, he's been unbelievable.
He's been solid.
Right? And now, like, even if the Oilers go win the cup, like, you even look at the goaltending and go, there's a Stanley Cup winning goaltender net.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Who's to say this team, like, that's the thing you need in the playoffs. Who's to say he can't do it again? Look how old he is.
Yeah.
Not old.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's 25 or whatever. Like,
He's
your
a
age.
day. He's a day older than me.
See, and like, so
November-
that's
November
that's why
2nd.
this is also, I think, a little more exciting for Oilers fans. Is it's you may not get back here. That is the reality of it. But it's not like you can't see that maybe they could start. This could be the official start of something special over the next couple of years.
Completely agree.
The lightning run of a couple of years,
Yeah.
or the Blackhawks, or the Kings of a couple of years. The Pens going back to back. Could this be the start of that? Now, I don't want to jump, as you said, too far ahead. The Oilers, the city, everyone, just focus on this one. But that's what's nice about this team, though, is that there's a lot of good pieces that will still be here to help this team moving forward.
Yeah. Completely agree, Matty.
And there's a lot of storylines, I guess, here too. Because Zach Hyman was drafted by the Florida Panthers. And we were talking about this yesterday. The top 4 picks of the 2014 draft are all playing in this final. Ekblad, Draisaitl, Sam Bennett, and then Kachuk. No, not Kachuk. Yeah, Reinhart. Yeah,
Reinhart.
Because he went second
Right, I
or
was thinking
something.
that's the pull year of the year.
Yeah, and there's that. 30th year of the Florida Panthers organization, and 40th year since the Oilers won their very first Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
In 1983.
There you go.
I guess
84. 84 season.
Yeah. So,
Lots of
it just
headlines.
keeps going, keeps coming.
Matthew Kachuk obviously
What
has
is that?
history.
Kachuk versus the Oilers.
Vander Kane, that's going to be fun to see. Yeah, that's going to be.
He ran away from Calgary because of the Oilers. Him and Gaudreau left because they didn't see the path to winning because of here. That's what I'll look at it as. And here you go.
He's
Kachuk's
in the nasty chat right now.
He's
Matthew.
going for the
I see you.
Stanley Cup, and it's the team he's going up against. It's that team he kind of ran away
He's
from.
Gosh darn it, here we are again. Yeah, I see we got a few Panthers in the nasty chat.
Bobrovsky's here too.
And I also saw Paul Maurice enter the nasty chat.
We got Bobrovsky. Was Paul Maurice? Oh, there's Paul Maurice.
Yeah, man, that's pretty
Hey,
cool.
team meeting today at 3. Get off your damn phones.
That's so good.
That's a good one.
Man,
for
I
that.
love this. That's clever. That's good. Yeah,
Well,
no,
that's
that's pretty
fun.
cool. EST, we got some Panthers in the chat.
Does Bobrovsky
Making
scare you
waves down
guys?
there.
Jimmy Benn's gone now after the loss.
Bobrovsky. Yeah, Jamie Benn. No more Jamie Benn and Elias Pettersson in the chat. Bobrovsky, does he scare me?
Because the Oilers, the thing going into the last series for me was they didn't go against the top goalie until Ottinger.
Yeah.
The Kings, it was Rittich and Talbot. Fine players, but okay, you're not worried about that one as much. You then got Shilovs, the third stringer.
Yeah.
It was okay. Now the Oilers, let's see what they could do against the top goalie and Jake Ottinger, who had been having a really good playoffs. And to me, the entire series, he was beatable. The Oilers, I never felt like the Oilers were getting, there was a wall in front of the net that they just couldn't get past. And And that's where I go, like, Bobrovsky's having a great playoffs. He took him to the Cup final last year, but I also look at it and go, I'm not worried that I think the Oilers should be able to beat him.
Yeah.
I just want to look at his numbers for the playoffs this year.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's not Bobrovsky of old, but, like, he's kind of, in the last few, I remember his first year since signing in Florida, it was just the worst year of his career after winning the Vezina.
He's got a 908 save percentage, sorry to interrupt, but 908 save percentage these playoffs.
Yeah, that's solid.
In the series against did you say that's solid?
908, I think that's
908?
Well,
I think
that's above
915 is about what you want. That's the
but, like,
goaltending
looking
you
at,
want.
like,
To win a
Stuart-
cup, I think you need to go higher than
Stuart
that.
Skinner's right now is like 880.
Okay, but now the Rangers series. Oh, I did this wrong. Sometimes I hate hockey reference.
It's not. Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Well, because you never know which one you have to click.
Well, I think-
He had a 921 in the Rangers series, that's the number that
yeah,
is.
like that's really solid.
Shutout 933, 783, 913, 926, 958. What is Stuart Skinner from the Western Conference Finals?
I think it's like, or in the Western Conference. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
well,
was
like
better.
his Canucks series is going to have hurt.
Well, and
his save
see, and that's the
percentage.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a small sample size, right? Like so a lot of these teams are less than 20 games played or just over 20 games played, right? So if you have one bad night, that's definitely gonna affect your save percentage. But Bobrovsky, he can win you a game for sure. Like I was saying, he's won a few Vezinas. He's not Bobrovsky of old, but like he has had some highlight saves in this playoffs. He's a good enough goalie to win you the cup, I think.
897 these playoffs for Stuart Skinner. If you go since he returned to the lineup from the Canucks, he's got a 919 save percentage. So,
Gosh.
if you go
That's pretty good.
the Western Conference Finals, I said Bobrovsky was 921, Stuart Skinner 922.
He's better.
922 in the Western Conference
He's better
Final.
than
Both going 4-2. He had a .001 better save percentage. 939, 917, 810, 909, 950, 971. So
okay.
That's it.
We a little Beetlejuice action. We said Jamie Benn, and he says, "I'm still here." I've got a feeling that this is just some person swapping in and out of his accounts.
yeah, but that's a lot of work to
It is a
switch
lot
your
of work.
accounts a
It
little
is,
bit to
but,
keep
like,
this
something's weird.
joke going.
Man, and
That's a
Darnell
great
Nurse,
joke.
We've got a lot of
Darnell
NHL
Nurse
Plus
coming
minus
in.
is overrated, is what Darnell Nurse is saying. Plus minus is
How
overrated.
cool is this?
The Oilers they speak to the media in 15 minutes.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah,
we'll find out
Darnell,
what they see.
get ready.
So
Ready, Darnell?
they have lots of time to continue in the nasty chat with us here.
But I'm just trying to think. Like, I'm pretty sure Bobrovsky is. I don't know, from the regular season. Maybe I'm onto something. I'm pretty sure he's played the Oilers very well, though, if I can remember correctly.
Well, the Oilers have lost 4 of their games, I think, this season. Or
they lost
they're
their
They're 0-2
two
against the
going through
Panthers.
this season.
And
yeah.
I'm pretty sure both of those games they were up. I remember watching the one. They lost the first game. I think they lost 5-3 or something like that. They were up 3-0 to start the first period, and then Florida, they came back.
Career
and won.
Sergei Bobrovsky has played 17 games against the Edmonton Oilers. He's 11-6 with a 906 save percentage.
Yeah,
That's his entire career.
that's okay, I guess.
906 isn't a fantastic number.
No.
But he is 11-6. So he wins,
Most of those were
2
on
out of 3
Columbus, when he was on a pretty bad
Yeah.
Columbus team as well.
but 906. So the Oilers have a chance. Who does he have a worst save percentage against? Bruins, he has a worst save percentage against. Flames, a worst save percentage against, career-wise. Kings, a worst save percentage. Predators, a worst save percentage. That's it.
Yeah.
So the Oilers are actually 4th or 5th best at beating Sergei Bobrovsky in his career.
Yeah, well, there you go. Never mind. Don't listen to me. Yeah, but as far as like going forward with this team, like I don't think it's the goaltending that's going to be the issue. It's just going to be just how, like, if you've been watching Florida play, like, you have no time and space. Like, they are on you like crazy, and especially in the penalty kill. Like, I remember the Oilers struggled. Just watching them, they had a really hard time getting set up because, like I said, they got no time and space. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing, and just the physicality that they bring. Like Sam Bennett, Ryan Lomberg, and Matthew Tkachuk. Those are 3 former Flames, which is kind of funny, but those are also like really physical players. So it's gonna be
But I'm
but the
intrigued-
Oilers can play that game though.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
they
intrigued
can
though
now.
what Tkachuk brings to this series. Like with Calgary, his mentality was try to get under the Oilers' skin, try doing things. It's where you get the nickname the Rat.
Yeah.
And it caught the Oilers for a while in the regular seasons. And in game one of that playoff in the second round series, it caught the Oilers. They focused way too much on Tkachuk, and the Flames won that hockey game by a big margin. And then game two came, and the Oilers realized, go do what you want to do. Try to get under the skin. We're not going to focus on you. We're going to focus on our game. And in the end, you're going to get called for penalties, and we're going to take advantage with the power play. Yeah. And they did that the rest of the series, and the Flames unraveled.
Yeah.
They were then being all upset that they were taking so many penalties, but you're being a rat. You're doing these things, so the refs are starting to have to call it. I'm intrigued if that's the Tkachuk that's going to come out, or if he's going to do things differently. Because if that's the Tkachuk that comes out, the Oilers better have learned from their lessons and continue with what they did with Calgary a few years ago. And it's let him do that.
Yeah.
Get those power play opportunities and beat that team on the power play.
Yeah. Hearing from Paul Maurice, I was watching what he had to say going into the series. He's very happy with Matthew Tkachuk. He's grown comparing it to last year, and he's a lot more disciplined. He has a lot more discipline. So that's what he had to say about Tkachuk. I don't know.
But when he sees that Oiler jersey,
he's gonna get triggered. Yeah,
right?
That's what
like,
I'm
does
thinking.
it all of a sudden change where he's like, I got to do this to get McDavid or something?
But in saying that, the only two players that have more points than Matthew Tkachuk in the last, I think, 3 playoff or postseasons, it's Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. Like, he's been last year was just, it was incredible seeing what he was like the driving force of that team. And if he plays like that, I know he's not quite that this year, but maybe he's trying a more two-way approach. I don't know. Maybe that's Sasha Barkov just talking to him a little bit. But he's still a game changer. That is a good question, because you don't know which Matthew Tkachuk you're going to get, and are the Oilers going to bring that out of him? Who knows?
I feel like Evander Kane definitely has to get out there and try and poke his buttons a little bit. You know, he's got to get on his nerves.
That'd be awesome.
Try and get him going to get that, because in the ending of the Western Conference Final, like their power play started to click. They were two for two in that one game, and then it just kept rolling. They're finally able to break through. And if any team gives the Oilers a chance, which has been proven the entire season into the playoffs, if they get a power play, they can score, and it's almost automatic, quite almost automatic. But I know the Panthers definitely are aware of that, so they might try and simmer it down a bit. It's going to be pesky on both sides, because, as you alluded to, the Panthers are a great team. They do not give you space. They're like piranhas on the forecheck too. They just go hard and into the corners and everything. They're a really, really pesky team.
Hard on the forecheck. Yeah.
And there's so many players that bring that too. Like, they're very skillful and fast. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be back and forth, I think, for a couple games.
Yeah.
Like a couple moments.
It's just been unreal hockey that we've watched.
It was funny as I was listening to you guys, another headline, which you were talking about. There's a lot of headlines going into the series. There has never been a player with the first name Evan in the NHL Finals. Never.
Now there's two.
What?
Now there's 2, Evan Rodriguez and Evan Bouchard.
I didn't know
Really?
that one.
Yeah. TSN just...
Who
did an
studies
article.
that?
Yeah, could you
Who
imagine?
sat there and went, you want to know something? I don't think there's been an Evan.
Like, wait a second.
In all these years of the Stanley Cup Final, I don't think there's been an Evan. Let's double check this.
Yeah.
Like, how do they find that? They got to have some database where they just click like Control F or something and look for it. You know what I mean? They're not looking through every
there's a
single
company,
word.
Elias
Nowadays.
Sports. They do a lot of that stuff where I've emailed them in the past looking for info and be like, hey, do you have this? And they'll research it and give you the answer to that. But
Cool.
I'm like, who thought that? To be like, hold on a second. Evan, this might be the first Evan that's in the
weird.
Stanley Cup Final.
Ever? It's hard to believe that,
over
honestly.
100
But then I can't
years.
name
No
really
Evan.
players Evan, right?
Yeah. There's not a
Those are
lot.
the only 2 Evans that I know in the league.
Evan Rodriguez and now Evan Bouchard. So that's kind of cool.
Double up.
The Panthers in the playoffs. Oh, wait, do I have this right? Or is that career? No, this season. Second best penalty kill in the playoffs.
Yeah.
88.2. The only team better is the Edmonton Oilers at 93.9%. So if the Oilers get those power plays, opportunities, it'll be a fascinating way to see who comes out on top with those when you look at the power play. Obviously, the Oilers do have the best, 37.3. The Panthers, 6th throughout the playoffs, 23.3% on the PP.
Yeah. But that was also Los Angeles Kings finished the regular season. I know it's regular season, but they finished the regular season with the second best. Pretty sure it was the second best penalty kill. And the Oilers just absolutely dummied them. So There's
Well,
that.
the Oilers just have an unreal power play.
Yeah.
And you only play them how many times
And
throughout
see,
the
and that's
season?
what I,
Kings had the second best penalty kill throughout the regular season.
Yeah.
Hurricanes 86.4, Kings 84.6.
Yeah.
Power play merchants, right, guys?
Yeah. Yeah. That's I hate that. I hate that.
Oh,
But yeah, like that's another thing I like about this is usually during the regular season, if you're a Western-based team playing, you play the West more than the East. The Oilers only played the Florida Panthers twice, and so I feel like in the regular season with the Oilers playing the Kings and the Canucks, you kind of get some tendencies. You kind of know what the scouting report is on the team. It's going to be a little bit different here because you only play those two teams, or you only play the team 2 other times. So I'm kind of fascinated to see what. Obviously, I imagine they're going to be doing some video work and all that. But I've always been curious about that. Now we got to find out, Matty.
yeah. Did you see that video of you were talking about it right after the morning show of Connor McDavid getting the hat on the back and all the fans just walking up to him?
Yeah.
Just trying to hug him and woo him with his fiance.
Yeah.
No boy.
Yeah. No.
There's nothing. Everyone said it already.
I feel bad.
It's
Feel bad for the
just
guy.
go up, quickly say something if you want, at most. Good luck, Connor. Edmonton's cheering for you, then walk away.
Yeah.
Or as Gager pointed out, at the very least, just like, do you need help?
Yeah. Can I?
Lauren, do you want me
They
to
didn't
grab
ask.
those and
She's
help
like-
those, put those in there for you? Like, oh no, you're good. Awesome. All the best this week. See ya.
Yeah,
You
that's
could
a tough
you
look.
could make it a little off, but yeah, you don't have to keep filming that and doing all of
hate
that. But it's a good thing that we don't see that too often.
No.
That's true.
Also, still go to good job, Lauren, on the White Claws.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'd be crushing those first.
That'd be Lauren.
This is the EST Hangout presented by Two Hoots, a hard ice tea, a Boulder Real
good.
Brew tea. Don't just give a hoot, give two. Matt Iwanyk, YouTube Trev, Zachticum here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, as well as those watching on YouTube. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Hive, product marketing official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Promotional products that bring the buzz. Bzz, check them out, hiveproductmarketing.com. I haven't put it on Twitter or anything yet or on our website, but those green hats are available now. The green and gold Edmonton Sports Talk hats, $39.99 plus GST. Very limited number. Probably only about 15 available. Reach out to me,
Exclusive.
Matt at EdmontonSportsTalk.com if you want one of those green and gold hats, and we can try working it out for that. Also, I want to qualify someone right now for the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. July 12th to the 14th, Kingsman Park. Great Outdoors Comedy Festival.com for tickets. Alley-Cat, the official beer of the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. Enjoy a 6 o'clock lager in a great setting with having some awesome laughs because the comedians are fantastic. Andrew Schultz, Shane Gillis are on the Sold Out Friday. Saturday, it's Kevin Hart. Sunday, Burt Kreischer and Whitney Cummings. We want to qualify you for a VIP table to the Saturday show with Kevin Hart. We're going to give that away on next Friday, June 14th, on the morning show. To qualify for this, just text us 780-218-9999. Let's go Kachuk. Let's go
Nice.
Rat. Let's go Rat.
Yeah, Rat's
Let's go
easier.
Rat. Text us RAT to 780-218-9999, and you'll go into a draw
Rat.
for being a qualifier and potentially winning the VIP table to see Kevin Hart, Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. GreatOutdoorsComedyFestival.com at just after 11 o'clock here on Edmonton Sports Talk. It is the lock shop, myself and Huss. We will talk some Stanley Cup. We'll also look at CFL season prop bets, wins, player passing, rushing, receiving. And then at noon, it's two guys and a goalie, myself, Matt Cassian, and Walking Gauge presented by GS Construction. And we'll look back, we'll look forward for the Oilers from conference finals to Stanley Cup. And I will give Gager a chance, and Cass and myself, to get into the Canadian Grand Prix that will take place this weekend. Because on Thursday, when we're doing two guys and a goalie, we're going to talk Stanley Cup that day. It's the last two guys and a goalie before the start of the Stanley Cup final. I don't have time to get into the Canadian Grand Prix, really. So maybe today I'll let the boys, we'll get into the Canadian Grand Prix. And then a reminder, on Saturday, it is the Green and Gold kickoff show and post-game show. It's back. It's here. Myself, Jim Mill, will be at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where I was yesterday, just off Fort Road, as we'll get you set for a wonderful Elks season, hopefully.
And it's right by the LRT too. So you could just whiz down there.
Great
walk
food.
A block. Yeah.
Great prices. You'll love it.
It is a great spot. I've only been there for that Super Bowl, and I loved every
Super Bowl?
minute of it.
Super Bowl party.
Super Bowl party.
Yeah. Oh,
The way back.
I get it. I get it. But we won't go into that. It's always nice walking back there and just like that wall of TVs is amazing.
It's pretty cool. I was blown away. That was the most TVs I've ever seen.
Well, and it's they're done perfectly though, because it's it's a seamless. They're all just connected, and
Nice
it's
and
not
flush.
absolutely. And it's just the way to need to watch a lot more. So I'll be able to watch some Elks games there while watching some other things throughout the summer, and it's just a wonderful time in Edmonton.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we already talked.
Can't wait.
So the Edmonton Elks, get your
around.
tickets now, by the way, because it is going to be a wonderful day. Join everyone down at Commonwealth Stadium this Saturday as the Elks charge into their historic 75th season against the Saskatchewan Roughriders in their home opener. Witness history in the making at Commonwealth Stadium. Be there to roar with the herd. Tickets available now at goelks.com or on Ticketmaster. Like as we've said, the Stingers tonight looking to go 5-0. You've got the Riverhawks in action tonight right here on Edmonton Sports Talk at 7:35 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in iHeartRadio. Their home opener is on Friday. They're playing 1 o'clock on Saturday. Elks are at 2 o'clock. Oilers at 6 o'clock. Stingers are back in action then on Sunday at 4 o'clock at the Expo Center. The forecast is absolutely beautiful. It's summer or close to being summer. Like, what more could we ask for right now
Yeah.
as a city?
Dude, it's
Right?
incredible. Like, it's so sweet. I love it.
It's just glorious.
Everyone's like, Trev, you got to move back home. You got to come. Not a chance. Not a chance. You know how much is going on here right now? It's the coolest thing. This is why I moved here. So, and what a better time, hey? It's crazy.
What a time for EST to be in its first
Best year.
Stanley Cup Finals. Not like just this whole year.
Just all works.
Oh, it's been a wild season for us.
Yeah, it's
Wasn't expecting this
perfect
for us as
season.
we're trying to build this out. Having to go from a coaching firing, being last in the NHL to a 16-game win streak, to getting to the playoffs, to which the goalie got pulled, to which they're back in it, and they're now going to the Cup Final, and it's wild. And then we're getting the
Doesn't make
75th
sense.
anniversary of the Elks, which is going to be a lot of fun. Tomorrow night at the Ice House from 5 to 7, they're launching their new jersey. Thursday, we've got the annual dinner. Actually, reminding me of that. Thank you. I'm glad we got here.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Annual dinner on Thursday. The Elks. It's. I've never been. I've only heard great things about the annual dinner. Edmonton Sports Talk. We've purchased a table for it. We actually have 2 spots for the table. If you are interested, 5 o'clock at the conference center, in joining us for the Elks annual dinner for their 75th anniversary, the launch of this season. Text us Elks to 780-218-9999, and you'll go into a draw. And I will reach out to one of you today, and you and someone, a +1, could join us. Jay Milne will be there. Tommy will be there. I will be there. Zach will be there. Trev will be there. Each table has either a current or an alum of the Elks/Eskimos.
Cool.
We have a couple of others that are going to be the Tube Socks will be there. Yes. With his son. But we have 2 more spots. So text us 780-218-99, just Elks. And I will get in touch with you today. And there's that on Thursday. Friday, also at Century Casino, Warren Moon's having an autograph session. Saturday, there's the biggest autograph session in Elks history. Like, everyone is here, and then they're playing a game, and it's just so much happening.
Well, and that gathering too. The dinner is the biggest gathering of Elks alumnus and the current player of their history. So 75 years jersey. Like, this is a huge week. This is amazing. And man, I get to wear a new suit. I haven't worn it. I haven't worn the suit yet. I bought it, and I've never worn it.
Do I have to wear a suit, Matty?
It's business formal.
So I have to, like, I can wear
Dress
something
up.
nice. Yeah.
It's not.
I'll see what I can do.
We don't have to go full suit, but dress shirt, pants, nice pants.
What
You're
if
good to go, I think.
nice dress shorts?
No, not a chance.
Golfing shorts.
Not a chance.
Okay. I'll
I'll say no to that.
I'll figure
like,
something
they've got
out.
to be full. Like, I will have full pants on.
Okay.
He's gonna show up in an Oilers jersey.
No. Can you imagine? So, no. That's cool. Can I read a quick text, man?
Go for it.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. It's just a proud moment, so I just want to read this one if I can. Okay, YouTube Trev, I've been watching your channel for a long time and didn't realize until your last video that it was you from the radio. Yes, that was me. So that's pretty cool. I just did a video over the weekend saying, like, definitely, come to Edmonton Sports Talk if you like Oilers content. We talk everything, but obviously we're talking a lot of Oilers content right now. And so that's pretty cool. I love that. Thanks for texting, buddy.
Yes, videos are
No name.
above average. What your name is on YouTube.
Yes. Thanks. I appreciate that, man. Right on. Okay. I'll let you. I just wanted to read that.
No,
one.
we can do
It's
this.
yours now.
You guys are kind of like this show. We go all over the place. We can do whatever. And
I love
if you want to read text. If you have something in the nasty chat, go read it from the nasty chat. It's all good.
Yeah, I love all the fake players though. I got to say that. And Sergei Bobrovsky in the chat was like, they don't even know Gustav Forsling. They're not even talking about Ekblad or whatever. Like, oh man, like that team is stacked. There's a lot of players
good
that I'm
team.
scared of on that team.
Yeah.
On the Florida Panthers
Well, you don't get to a cup final in back-to-back years.
Yeah.
By
fluke. Yeah.
Yeah, and two seasons ago, even like prior to the year they got to the cup final, they were President's Trophy champs.
Yeah.
Best
right.
team in the NHL, didn't do anything, but then last year get to a cup final.
Right.
This year back to a cup final. Like they have been a solid hockey team for the last few years as well, and that's where it's an interesting battle because as we've already mentioned with the Oilers, they've only gone down to the champs the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They have been a solid hockey team themselves. So one of those teams is going to be able to finally get what they need, and the other team is going to have a bit of disappointment because they're still just a little bit away from getting what they need. And who knows if he can get back? Can the Panthers do it 3 straight years?
Yeah. Do you think that out of the last 5 years, it's been Florida coming out of the East, whether it's Tampa
Yes,
or
the state of Florida.
Panthers? Yeah, the state of Florida. Do you think that it plays a part that there's just it's hockey still? There's not a lot of pressure. Do you think that plays like any factor going into it? They can just go in there and just play whatever. We're not gonna get ripped apart because we got
No.
no.
I think the players are good enough to knock things out
Yeah.
in largely. I do think the fact that there's no state tax does help to try to bring
Get
some
the
players in, and then they don't have to, they could come in a little bit of a cheaper deal because they're still going to come away with money because of the no state tax.
Right.
But it's also, I think, just things, Steve Yzerman is shown to be an unbelievable general manager, and he built the Lightning.
Yeah.
And now Brisebois has done a pretty solid job of keeping that going. And Bill Zito, a guy people want to hear in Edmonton to be the GM, has just done an excellent job with the Florida Panthers. And, look, he traded Huberdeau and Uyghur for Kachuk after winning the President's Trophy and losing. That is a bold trade to go make, and it's paid off completely for him.
It's crazy how much it's
But
worked
he
out
went out there, and how many general managers would be willing to do it? I think it's just more at the time, the state of Florida is just having some great general managers who have built great teams.
Yeah.
It is weird to me, though, that the Oilers, the last time they were in the Cup Final, they took on a non-traditional hockey market in the Carolina Hurricanes, and now they're back in the Cup Final. It's a non-traditional hockey market in the Florida Panthers, and it's not the Rangers, it's not the Bruins, it's not someone like the Detroit Red Wings or something like that. It's back to playing a non-traditional market and seeing what happens, and hopefully for the city this time they don't lose a second time to a non-traditional market.
Yeah.
I wonder how Florida is feeling, or in Sunrise, around that state. How many people are actually excited for the Stanley Cup Final?
Yeah.
That's just interesting to me because there's a few markets where it's like, oh well, it's hockey. Oh, they're in the final. I bet the great majority of people don't really even know who the top player is. Don't really follow it. Here, it's a cult following. People will die for the Oilers to win a cup.
Yeah.
A little bit of
In
exaggeration,
Miami, Sunrise, that area,
Maybe.
the Dolphins would be number one. I'm going to keep college out of this. They would be number one. Heat would be number two. Would the Marlins be ahead of the Panthers? I don't know. It'd be pretty close, I think.
Yeah.
But so that they are the third or fourth team in the city.
Yeah.
And so, although there's a reporter, I knew him from ESPN, but Joe Shad, who covers the Dolphins, followed me on Twitter yesterday.
Cool.
And it was like, oh, okay, so now he's a Dolphins journalist for Palm Beach. I was like, okay, so now he's just probably following a bunch of Edmonton media to
get
keep
the
tabs
scoop.
on things. But with that tells me that they're paying attention to a degree.
Yeah. It's I will say it definitely is nice because for years they had the lowest attendance by far, and the fans have showed up in the playoffs. Albeit I wonder what the ticket prices are going for down there, but I can't wait. It'll be cool to see Game 3 here in Edmonton, with the Panthers players, because every now and then you get the reaction of the players, as they're the national anthems are going, and they're just in awe, they're taking it all in. You can tell that it's wow, this is pretty special. I remember the first playoffs that I ever really watched. They panned a shot to Milan Lucic, and he was just looking up, and it was 18,000 plus singing "Oh Canada," and he's just smiling. He was and you never see that. They're focused, they're honed in on this. The 60 they're about to play, but it's pretty cool. That's I don't know. I love seeing that, right? because there is a human aspect to it, and they're just like, holy crap, like this is crazy. So I'm fascinated to see what the Panthers players, because credit to the Florida Panthers, the fans will be loud, but like I don't know if they're not going to be as loud as Rogers Place. There's no way. And getting to hear that crowd for the first time, like live, like I won't be there, but like televised, that's something I've waited my whole life for.
Well, you can hear it through the screen. That's the thing,
Yeah.
right? You could hear how loud it is, and of course you're going to turn it up and whatnot. But even the players were like, "Sorry, I couldn't even hear your question. It's so loud in here."
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a poorly designed room in a sense.
Yeah.
So right now on Ticketmaster, American pricing, it's only resale ticket. I'm not seeing other tickets. In Sunrise, it's $572.40 American to get in.
Like, what a trip
I'm
that'd
also
be.
very intrigued to see how many Edmontonians are going to make that trip.
Like they're going to travel.
Well, but it's also a hard travel. Like it's not an easy flight.
4,300, yeah.
It's going to be at least one connection, I think. I don't know if there's direct. I don't think there is to Florida from Edmonton.
Yeah.
So how many people are going to go do that? Because it is then the extra travel days that you're going to need and stuff. And that's
true.
also why partly like it makes sense why there's the days off between switching of cities.
Quite a bit of
Because
days,
even for the players, it's most North major city for a pro team taking on the most South in North America. That's a lot of travel that you're going to have to deal with. And the players are going to need that little extra rest. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
The farthest travel, and what is it? In between certain games, there's 3-day breaks instead of just
right around through it. I think it's
one break
I don't know
or
if
2
it
day?
changes, but I know the first break is 3 days.
Well, it's 2 days off between.
Or it's 2 days.
Oh yeah, 2 days. Yeah,
Yeah, I would. No,
I think there's a
I thought
couple
there was
days.
a 3-day break in there.
you're right.
Yeah,
Because 11,
from-
12, 13, they're off. They play on the 14th, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So in between game 2
right?
and
I
3,
know.
you play on the 10th and then play on the 13th, and
Okay,
then
so then 2 days off.
Game 4 and 5 from the 15th you
15th.
play, and then the 18th you play, and then between game 6 and 7 you play on the 21st, and then on the 24th would be game 7 if needed.
And that's where, like, I'm glad there's these days off between, because also you're dealing with ABC's, I think, doing both NBA and NHL. You also have arena availability things, and there's a lot that goes into this. But the NHL just needs to move their schedule up. Shorten the preseason from 8 games to 4 games or whatever. Let's start the season all a little bit sooner. We should not be giving the Stanley Cup away on June 24th with the draft 2 days later.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, that's just ridiculous. But I'm fine that this schedule is like this because I do think it'll make better hockey if the players get a little more rest in the series. Before we wrap up the Hangout today, I'm putting you guys on the spot.
I already did a prediction.
I don't have a prediction.
You guys, let me ask my question. Which team is the favorite going into the Dounia this season? Is it the Shreveport Pirates and Scott McCord? Is it the San Antonio Texans and Lucas Holt? Is it the Memphis Mad Dogs, Eric Holt? Or is it the Sacramento Gold Miners and me?
Memphis Mad Dogs, baby.
You know what? Is that LT?
Yeah.
I was going to pick him, but I'll be different. You know what? I'm very confident in Matty's abilities. He's a very smart man.
3-time champ.
I don't like to admit it, but he is. He
3-time
is. And he is a 3-time champ. He feels confident. I'm going with Mr. Iwanyk to my right.
As he should.
Yeah.
This guy knows. My
go.
wide receiver, running back, Canadian depth, unmatched.
It does look unmatched.
Unmatched. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Scott, for allowing me to just draft that and giving me these guys. It's
Silly
just
guys.
been amazing. It's been amazing. At the Dounia to follow our CFL all season long. Boys, thanks for coming in to the Hangouts. Coming up next, it is the Lock Shop, myself and Haas, Stanley Cup, CFL. Lots to get to there. Then 2 guys and a goalie, myself, Matt Cassian, Joaquin Gage, presented by GS Construction. A lot of Stanley Cup talk again as well there. A little bit of Canadian Grand Prix as we get set for a busy time in Edmonton. But when it comes to the Oilers specifically, Stanley Cup Game 1 out in Florida on Saturday. Thanks for tuning in to the EST Hangout presented by Two Hoots on behalf of Eric, Zach, Trev, I'm Matt. Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today,